Good evening. It is Monday, July 14th, and this is a meeting of the Southborough Planning Board. The Planning Board is now in session. First item, I think the Chair of the Select Board has some business he wants to address first. Not on our agenda.
Yes, so I'm calling to order the meeting of the Select Board at 6:30 PM. Because we inadvertently failed to renew the appointment of Jesse Stein and Al Hamilton to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund past 6:30. We posted a revised agenda to take a vote to reappoint them both to the committee for a term through June 30, 2027. So I move that the Select Board reappoint Jesse Stein and Al Hamilton to the Affordable Housing Trust for terms to expire June 30, 2027.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Okay, and Tim?
Aye.
Okay, so it's unanimous. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. And does the Affordable Housing Trust want to open their meeting?
Questions? Since Andrew's over here, Doug Manch, Chair of the Affordable Housing Trust, calling our meeting to order. Thank you.
And the first item on the agenda is the Affordable Housing Trust Housing Production Plan.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, first of all, to the Planning Board for hosting us, and thank you to the Select Board for joining us tonight. As stated on the Planning Board agenda, we're here collectively to review and discuss the housing production plan for the town of Southborough. The Board of the Affordable Housing Trust has been tasked with this effort, and we've been working on this for the last few months. And one key point, just as a reminder, everyone, the town of Southborough is required to do a housing production plan every 5 years. So this, I think, this will actually be our third housing production plan. So we've been, again, working on this in earnest. We have brought on board with our funds a highly qualified third-party consultant, Community Scale, to assist us with the preparation and drafting of this. And you guys should have received a copy of this housing production plan. So but I'd actually like to turn over to my fellow committee member, Ellen Myra, who along with Jesse Stein really took the lead on this effort. And she's going to walk us through the plan and answer any questions or comments that we might have from the Planning Board or the Select Board.
Great. Thank you, Doug. And thank you to the Planning Board, to the Select Board for joining us tonight to go over our housing production plan. I also want to acknowledge Sarah Brent McCoy, who's in the audience from Community Scale. As Doug said, our very able consultant. She and her colleague Nels Nelson put in a tremendous amount of work over a very short period of time. So we are excited to share the draft plan with you tonight, hear your questions, have some discussion. And as you saw when you received the plan last week, it is detailed and lengthy. We're not going to go through the whole thing page by page. We wanted to spend a little bit of time on some of the kind of key headlines. And then we said have that discussion and conversation with all of you. No, that's fine. Yes. Yeah. That I can't talk about. Thank you. So we'll just start a little bit about what the housing production plan is, why we're here. So if you could move forward to the next one, please, Colleen. No. So it was the one that was just up before. Perfect. Thank you. Great. So the next slide on there just talks a little bit about what a housing production plan is. So this is a state process that all communities can go through. Not everybody does, but it is, most communities choose to go through the process of creating a housing production plan to have a proactive strategy for the community to be able to reflect on the needs in the town and put together that type of forward-thinking strategy and goals to meet those needs. So there are some, you can go back actually. No, that's fine. Thank you. There are some requirements that the state puts forward if you are going to put together a housing production plan. So it has to have a comprehensive needs assessment. So look at demographics and housing stock in the town, and then project those numbers out for the next 5 years to get a sense of what the housing need is going to be. There need to be set affordable housing goals. So both kind of qualitative goals on the type of housing that you want to see in the community, where that should be, as well as a set numerical target for production, and then some implementation strategies as well on how to actually get to those goals. So in addition to being able to kind of put together that proactive strategy, an additional benefit of having a housing production plan is that if the plan is approved by the state and the community makes demonstrated progress towards meeting the goals laid out, and then is granted what's known as certification, the town then can get a temporary safe harbor. So giving the ZBA support for decisions that are consistent with community needs around 40B applications. So that's an important consideration. So you have to have your approved up-to-date housing production plan. Southborough has completed 3 housing production plans. The last one you can see in 2020. So we're up to that 5-year renewal date. And we have been certified of our last housing production plan, given the 2020 approval and the approval of the units at 120 Turnpike. So to maintain that certification and that safe harbor for the next 2 years through the end of 2026, we want to have our proactive strategy and have this new plan approved. So we can move to the next one, please. So like we said, we wanted to kind of touch on some of the headlines here. So the plan does go into the detail of kind of the extent of housing needs in the community. But we pulled out this one as something that I think really tells the story of how quickly affordability conditions have changed in the town. So if you look at the kind of bottom purple line there, that's the typical home price in town. And when you compare it to the line above it, that home price going back to 2010 was consistently below what a household at the median income could afford. And that changed coming out of COVID, and that has not been the case ever since. So the typical home price in town is now over $200,000 more expensive than what the median household can afford. And that price is also nearly doubled in the last 15 years alone. So we're really talking about putting Southborough out of reach for a lot of families who would want to move in, young adults who would want to move back home, maybe after growing up here, as well as our older adult households who might have bought their home here at a time when it was much more affordable to do so, now want to downsize, stay in town, but there's not a place for them to do that affordably. Please. So you can see all of the different kind of components that Community Scale calculated to get to kind of what our numerical target needs to be. So that number is 255 homes over the next 5 years, including 28 that are counted as affordable on the state subsidized housing inventory. So that works out to 51 homes per year over the next 5 years. This one, please. So to get to that number, Community Scale and the Affordable Housing Trust worked out 9 different goals and 9 aligned strategies, so all of which are shown on this matrix. And so really thinking about how we can get to that number in a way that really meets the needs that are existing currently in the community. And so again, all of those are detailed more in the plan. What we wanted to talk a little bit more about is what comes next, which is kind of some of the next steps for these strategies. Right, so first to highlight kind of where we already are, and we thought it's important to kind of take stock of all the progress that Southborough has made and acknowledge all the pieces that we have in place before we look at doing something new or doing things differently. So there have been a number of important zoning changes in town with the MBTA Communities Overlay District, the Downtown District a few years ago. So we really want to be encouraging development in those areas before we start thinking about things like additional zoning changes. We're also supportive of the work that we know the planning board is doing now around the ADU bylaw, understand the types of opportunities that will open up. And then also work in coordination around opportunities around Route 9. So we know that that's a big focus with the wastewater study committee, other committees in town to really make sure we're maximizing the opportunities that are there. And the overall kind of economic development goals along Route 9, we think are really aligned with the housing goals as well, that to get to the type of economic development the town needs, we need that commercial development as well as denser multifamily housing development along that Route 9 stretch. So the middle bucket are kind of the areas that the trust is thinking about next steps on. So that includes kind of tracking the success of some of our recent zoning and policy and bylaw changes. So again, understanding what's getting built, where is it getting built, what types of supports are we offering, how are those helping, what could we maybe be doing differently. Also thinking about how the trust wants to be approaching our capacity for production and preservation of the existing affordable housing in town. And then finally, we're looking into pursuing housing choice community designation. So this is another opportunity from the state that if a town is kind of hitting certain benchmarks around best practices, that if they get that designation, there's a separate kind of funding pool from the housing choice grant opportunity that opens up. And then a town also gets kind of priority or bonus points on a lot of other grant applications. So Community One Stop, a lot of infrastructure grants. So there's a lot of opportunity that opens up. And this is something that we looked into with community scale. We're already kind of well on the way. So we want to kind of understand what other steps we need to take, potentially through some technical assistance from the state, looking into grant opportunities for a consultant to kind of help support the trust. And then one we wanted to focus on with all of you, where we're requesting some collaboration, is around removing the cap on older adult housing at our fall town meeting. So this is, again, detailed in the plan. So we do have in our zoning bylaws a cap on the number of homes for people age 55 and older in town, and that's set at 7% of our total housing stock. So that works out to 213 homes. We currently have 208 of those homes in town. So we're really coming up against this self-imposed barrier at a time when our older population is really rapidly growing. So this is one we wanted to connect with all of you on, see how we could move this forward. Either happy to come to another meeting or schedule another joint meeting to move that one ahead for fall town meeting. So those are some of the highlights of the plan, and wanted to open it up for any questions you have on the strategies. Sarah Brent's here for any of the technical questions as well. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Houlihan.
So first of all, thank you. Thanks to the committee for all of your support on this and doing this and getting the consultant. I know it's a big lift. It always is when you do these type of deep analyses. So thank you, and thanks for taking the time to present it. You know, I feel like I've been here, this is my 6th year, and I learned something new about our E-code and what's in there. So I had no idea we had a housing cap. I know we did on the ADUs, which we're hoping to eliminate in the administrative bylaw. So I guess if we could dig in a little bit more on kind of where is that off the top of your head, if you guys know where that is. And then I am in full support of removing that. I mean, we're trying to make some steps. I don't know if we can do it I think it would make sense to do it at the special town meeting, although I know it's a pretty robust and we've got a lot of zoning articles on there right now. But maybe since we're doing administrative things, I think it might be something we could consider. So that's kind of my first question for you.
Sure. So it's part of the special permit requirement. So 174-9, there's a section H on multifamily housing for the elderly.
I also want to point out, on the planning webpage, we do keep a calculation table of the number of units that are available, and the current, list of 55 and over developments. Yep, their status.
Yeah, and thank you to Karina for providing us those numbers.
Oh, they're there.
No problem.
And I assume that there was some reason, like everything. I was actually on the phone with Don Morris today trying to understand some other stuff from history. So he's always a really good point for this, but why there was that cap on
I
there.
think people were afraid that the town would be all over 55 development.
Got it. Okay, so I'm definitely in favor of that. And then just a little bit more on just the tracking success of recent zoning and policy changes. Obviously, the planning board has yet to hear anything from any of these MBTA community sites that have been distinguished from any potential developers. Do you have something in mind for that, or is that also something in collaboration, like how we can help each other just think about tracking some of those things?
Yeah, I would say more about how we can help each other. Understanding the type of development that's appropriate there, the types of partnerships that would be needed to get there. Because I think there's the option of kind of seeing what comes in, or there's the option to kind of come up with something ourselves.
Mhm.
So I think that's something we would be looking to collaborate on.
Yeah, I think one of the goals was it's a 5-year plan. It's simply a plan, right? But not to simply come back to it 5 years later. So the idea was to see, and again, as Ellen said, like we've already done a lot, right? With the other zoning changes, right? Also, we have the chapter 40Bs that just been approved. And so just making sure we as a committee, we'd love to do it collaboratively with you, is that what actually is getting built, how it's getting built. One of the things we also talked a lot about was the diversity of housing types, right? So this is where the 55 plus comes in, right? We're really good at building single family homes and recently apartments, but there's very little in between, right? And so how does that help us? So again, I think it was just more actively, proactively, just kind of, seeing where it's happening and then relate that back at least through our committee to see, okay, did we hit 55 units this year? Where are we trending type of thing? So
Yeah, and I would just say from an ideal perspective, like I think we all would love to be proactive. It often becomes reactive just because we're all juggling the full-time workloads and then this stuff at night. But I'd love to be a partner with that. So thanks again for coming in. I'll spend more time with it and put some thoughts on how to track some of the things, and we can work on maybe a follow-up conversation on how we do a bylaw update.
Thank you.
Mr. Murray.
Hi, thank you for coming in. You said this took only a couple months, but it looks like you spent a really long time. So it's a beautiful report. Thank you for the shout out also in the report to the master plan. As you know, you've hit some of the goals with this, but also there's so much in here that really hits almost every single goal that you have. So thank you for that. I have only one question in it. Well, I wanted to just echo what Marnie was saying. I agree on your proposal for bylaw. Many of the meetings and things that I go to at the state, over 55 is considered exclusionary zoning now. And so that's always been kind of a little bit of a yin yang for me because, it was there for a purpose, but I think today it's seen differently that it's really excluding families. So on families, that's my question. Did you come across anything about, or have any ideas about how, I guess the question really has to do with the number of kids that are coming into the communities. So the information that I have is from the Metro West Area Planning Council. And their latest figures are that the number of children entering the schools is down about 20%. And it's in our area. And maybe that's more toward Boston, or maybe that's out this way. So but, how do we plan for the future? I've always wondered whether that number is correct because we're looking to, do something with our schools, but also what does it mean for families like that in particular? Just wanted to get your opinion on that kind of aspect with children.
Sure. So I think like Doug said, we're thinking a lot about the diversity of housing types that we need. And so I think a lot of the concern comes up that you're mentioning about being exclusionary is that if towns only build multifamily housing, that's restricted to age 55 plus. So are kind of going out of their way to exclude those families with children. So I think we're looking for a mix of a lot of different types of housing. One of the other things noted in the plan is that since our last plan, 5 years, we've only built single family homes. That's the only thing that's been built in town in the last 5 years. And those tend to be large. They tend to be on large lots. So thinking about how we can get a better mix of the single family homes, the duplexes, the smaller apartment buildings, the townhouses, so that can include everybody. And so on the school issue, so one of the pieces that Paul had shared with us as well and shared to Sarah Brent was looking at some of the school age population projections. So all of those went into the need assessments that Community Scale did, looking out to kind of estimate the different types of units and mix of units that we would need. So I think there's only, some of this is a little bit of a crystal ball, but that is something that was considered in the projections and so are reflected in kind of the mix of single family like ownership units versus rental units that are recommended in the plan.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Ms. Braccio.
Thank you. Thank you for coming in. Great report. Very, very well done. Kudos to your consultant for doing all the legwork to get this done. I know it takes a lot, so thank you very much. Great job. Just a couple comments. On the chart, again, I'm going to go back to kind of where Marnie went about the, let's see, removing the cap on older housing at a fall town meeting. My only concern with that is if you take a look at the over 55 housing stock that we have here in Southborough now, it's units that are selling for $700,000 and above. And I don't think that hits the everyday Southborough longtime resident. I don't know how we fix that, but I think we should consider that if we're looking to remove the cap. I think the last thing we want to do is put more larger condos, duplexes, whatever, for seniors potentially, but them coming in at such a high price point, it's not helping those that actually live in town. It makes Southborough more of a retirement community, if you will, which isn't a bad thing, but if we're looking at true diversity and and equity and trying to help those over 55 that may want to downsize or, have a smaller home anyway, but it's just too much for them. So, again, I don't have the answer there, but that's, that was just my first thought when I saw that. My next question was on the evaluate sites for 40R near the train station. I think that's a really big jump. Not that a 40R is a bad thing, but I think with the downtown district, we saw there was a lot of contention, if you will, on that. And I think we need to be respectful to one section of town bearing the brunt of all the higher density. I don't know what the solution to that is. The south side of town has your more affordable homes, that are in the price point of, I'm not going to give a number, but we all know there's smaller homes on smaller lots. So has there been any consideration to taking a look at maybe Res A and changing it from 1 acre, making it more housing friendly? I know that's not that's not going to be very popular either, but if we're considering, adding another layer to the south side of town, I think we should just look at the town as a whole to find the best path. So that's just one comment on that. Because I think a 40R is going to be a really hard sell based on the MBTA right now. So, and then my last question was, you talked about, there was a slide, I think it's 28 on the draft. It shows all of the opportunities, underutilized sites on Route 9. So I just wondered, I don't know the criteria, the matrix that went into deciding what's underdeveloped, but I didn't know if you had a readily available list. Obviously, there must be some list of these sites. I would just like to get a copy of that. I've looked at some of them, but it would be much easier to see the matrix that was used. So those are my 3 questions. Again, kudos to you guys. I mean, you've only been together since January, and you guys have done some really great work. So thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Belknap.
Once again, thanks for coming in. Thanks for all the solid work. This is pretty comprehensive. That's great. One comment, one question. The first comment is on slide 35 or page 35 about trying to use Route 9 more. And one of the keys to unlocking that is going to be implementing wastewater, something that is currently under study in town at the moment. So we'd love to talk more about that to see if there's ways that we can partner together. The current chair of our committee is over in the corner. So thanks for that. The second one is question, and I don't know if you would happen to know this off the top of your head, but do we have any data on the median price paid by a first-time home buyer in Southborough compared to the median home value in Southborough?
That is a good question. Yeah, not off the top of our head, but I think that's yeah, important to understand and to help tell that story.
Yeah, because I agree that the gap is quite large, 200K. But I also know, well, I shouldn't say no. I suspect, because I'm in the same boat, that the first time my wife and I purchased a house, it was not at the median or above, it was below because we were first-time home buyers. I know that's not the case for everyone, but it would just be interesting to know if you could put your hands on that data without too much trouble. So
Yep.
Otherwise, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Let me echo what the rest of the board said. It was a fabulous report, very positive. The last report was very negative, so I was very happy to see this. I agree with Ms. Braccio on the 40R. I think that's a third rail. There is a new program like 40R. I think it's like 40X for starter homes, which might be something to look at, and it has like similar payments to the town, which might be more digestible for people than 20 units an acre. My other comments. Just on the wastewater.
Mhm.
So what's been sold is that was to increase commercial development on Route 9. And Route 9's really our only commercial zone. I mean, there are other little ones around, but that's the big one. So, really pushing housing there, I don't think is a great idea. And I don't know, like well, that's all I'll say.
Can I
Yeah, I was
just comment on
Sure.
that point?
Yep.
So we really do see alignment on developing along Route 9. And as Alan said, it's really the wastewater study and feasibility and that actually happening is key to all of those. And I think, I was thinking a lot about this as well. And so I was looking at, so two of the biggest parcels that are currently used along Route 9. So Ken's Foods is 51 acres. Last year paid about $600,000 in property taxes to the town. Madison Place is 19 acres, paid about $700,000 in taxes to town. So if we're trying to really rebalance the tax base, which I think is kind of the ultimate goal of that development stretch, then I think it's really a mix of that denser housing and the commercial development.
Yeah, I would add too, we actually purposely put a note in there too, acknowledging exactly what Route 9 is for, which is commercial tax base, right? So this wasn't necessarily to supplant the commercial tax base. It was really to, supplement it, right? Or be more mixed use in nature. And the sewer would allow, more opportunities for not just commercial, but also housing. But it was meant to be really complementary. And it's also the area that's less developed in town too as well. So it's kind of out of the neighborhood. So that was the kind of the comments or thought process. And also 40R, this committee definitely is not looking to put 40R around the T station. It was more about 40R is a program that you can use on Route 9 too as well. It's really about, leveraging state funds if we decide to bring more housing into it too. So, and again, that was also like a sub potential strategy
Yeah.
on the last page, like the goal right now, we're really in exploration phase of trying to look at what all the options are for the town per se. But just to give you a sense of that wasn't necessarily trying to do some big development around the MBTA station. That's not. We just went through the MBTA Communities Act. We acknowledged that. And but it was more just understanding for the town and the board, there is a 40R, opportunity potentially in the future that's more around Route 9 potentially, but it's just one of potential tool down the road. That's all.
Okay, thank you. And now for my picky things.
Yeah.
On, so there's a note on the charts referencing the SHI.
Mhm.
It's on my 18 and find it. Well, it references it again. But it says that that if the 120 Turnpike Road project isn't constructed, the 15 SHI units will be removed. But there's 60 units on there because it's a rental, so it'll be 60 units. And that's on there's another chart, can't find it right offhand. And then on the the chart that shows the properties on Route 9. No, it's 34. The big one, the big, huge pink one, 45 acres of that is protected open space, subdivision open space. There's a teeny bit of industrial right on Route 9 that's available, but most of the whole industrial parcel is protected open space. And then it's split residential, that's not protected, but most of the industrial is.
Thank you.
But thank you very much. It's a great plan, great work from your new committee. Select Board, any comments?
So Kathy Cook from the Select Board. So this is an excellent report, but page 16 is shocking. 976 households spending more than 30% of their income on monthly housing cost. I knew it was bad. I didn't know it was that bad, but good gracious. Okay, Ellen, can you alluded to this. Can you explain the 2-year moratorium again you can get if you meet a goal of the HPP?
Sure. So that's what we're currently in right now. So through the end of 2026, based on the fact that we have an approved housing production plan, and we would need to keep that up by submitting this housing production plan and having that approved by the state. And given the fact that 120 Turnpike was approved, which showed that the town is taking steps to address our housing goals, the ZBA can deny a 40B. It would be a new 40B, not anything currently in the pipeline, and have the support that that is consistent with local needs, since those needs have been laid out in the housing production plan. So again, we look at this as a way to make sure we're doing kind of community-driven development versus kind of putting up additional barriers to development. But so understand that safe harbor, as it's known, is an important piece.
Okay, so the safe harbor right now is through the end of 26?
Yep.
Okay, so given where we are with the 40Bs in the pipeline right now, we've got at least 3 of them, then the ZBA could reject any application for another 40B through the end of 26 based on the 2-year moratorium, right?
Yes.
Okay, then what happens after 26?
So we, at that point, would likely be above our 10% on the subsidized housing inventory. So could get into kind of another phase of longer safe harbor. We could also have this housing production plan certified if we continue to make progress and approve additional 40Bs that are in the pipeline. So yeah, if we keep building the type of housing that we need and meeting those goals, then that safe harbor period can be extended.
Could I just add something quickly, just as a side? I think that they have to pull building permits for 120 Turnpike before the end of the year.
Yep.
In order to continue that safe harbor into the second year.
Okay, so if that happens, then yes, right? And if that doesn't happen, then no. Is that right, Ellen?
Yes.
Okay. And Doug, does the ZBA have discretion as far as whether to reject a new 40B under the 2-year moratorium, or is it mandatory that you do that?
No, I think we, if we're in good standing, we can reject.
Okay,
If
so,
there was not there would ever be a friendly 40B, but if there was, in theory, we could still approve something like that.
okay, so you've got a choice, it sounds like. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, but excellent report, guys.
Anyone else on the Select Board? Mr. Fling, do you have any questions or comments?
Nothing that hasn't been already asked. Thank you.
Thank you.
No hands raised in the public either.
So Jesse Stein, member of the Affordable Housing Trust Committee. So just in terms of the next steps on the 55 plus cap lift, if you guys are, and I agreed, with, I think Lisa, you said something along the lines of having an affordability component to that. 100% agree. So if the planning board's next meeting, I think we said August 18th, is that correct?
Yes.
So if there is and I'm making an assumption that you might be open to adding a discussion to the agenda. If you did, does that leave enough time for development of the warrant article and then a public hearing before the November? I think it's a November.
It would be tight, especially, so, I meant to mention that, but I forgot. I agree with Ms. Braccio. I think that bylaw was intended to have some affordability, because if you read the use in the code, it says owned by a community housing or a nonprofit organization, which is not a legal zoning regulation. You can't regulate ownership with zoning. So that needs to be fixed. And in the bylaw, it says, shall, shall meet the economic needs of a variety of, where is it?
Well, we can certainly noodle this.
Yeah, so varying economic levels, which hasn't really been done. Our over 55s are very expensive. So I think that more than just lifting the cap, I would like to see some affordability in there.
So I
And that, I think, would be a little more work than just removing the cap. So we could try and see where we get, and if we don't,
Okay,
we don't get it far enough, then we can just punt it to annual.
okay.
and
Thank
just-
you.
Just
So
quick
should we ask Mark to
Yeah.
put a placeholder for that?
Yeah, we can do that, but yes, absolutely. So one point, I just want to point out that DHCD, now EOHLC, you cannot have age restriction on affordable units. So if you're talking affordable, like market affordable in a concept versus truly restricted affordable, you can't restrict families and have it affordable. You can't say 55 and over and affordable with the actual deed restriction is my understanding.
So that's just to comply with EOHLC and the SHI, we could do other things with affordability that don't necessarily meet the
But in the,
80% AMI, yeah.
okay.
Well, I think the Affordable Housing Trust would be more than happy to join you guys at your next meeting and to discuss this further, and then we
Yeah.
can see the timing of it. I mean, obviously, we would love to move faster. This is probably lower hanging fruit from our perspective, and we're already at the cap, but it's kind of also separate and distinct of us collectively, approving the housing production plan. So again, we can move forward and stay in safe harbor, but we'd be happy to come back to you guys. And then if it works for the schedule, great. If we need more time, then we're open to that.
Okay. Sure.
So I was just going to say, I'm currently unemployed and I have a little bit more free time, but I think if someone's willing to work with me to write some draft language for the discussion, we'd be in a lot better position. So I'd volunteer to do that if someone from the Affordable Housing Committee would want to work with me, and we can connect afterwards.
Great.
Marnie needs something to do so she can stay off TikTok. So do you want us to accept the plan? Is that how that works?
I think, yeah, it'd be great if both the select board and the planning board could, vote to approve and adopt the plan, I think, in.
Do we
Affordable
approve and
Housing Trust.
adopt, or does the EOHLC adopt?
I don't know what the exact language is. I think okay, thank you.
But I think, we don't adopt it. I think it has to go to the state for adoption.
So yeah,
Oh, okay. Approve it. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
I think all three groups approving it would be ideal.
okay.
That's what we're.
Motion?
I make a motion to approve the housing production plan for the town of Southborough, 2025 to 2030, brought forward by the Board of Trustees of the Affordable Housing Trust.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, Latrell, yes?
Houlihan, yes?
Demiria, yes.
Brascio, yes.
Dolniak, yes?
Select Board?
So you want, the motion is to approve and adopt?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I move that the select board approve and adopt the 2025 housing production plan. All those in favor? All right, roll call, Dennington, aye. And Tim?
Aye.
Okay, thanks.
Yes. Yes, so do I have a motion to approve and adopt the 2025 housing production plan? Yes. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, excellent, thank you.
Do you
So-
want to adjourn?
So we're a bit more complicated, so I guess we can go first. So the Board of the Trustees of the Affordable Housing Trust is actually going to be entering into executive session per MGL Chapter 38, Section 21, and not returning to open session to discuss potential property acquisition exemption 6, as the chair has determined that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the town's position. So this board will be meeting in the town's administrative office for this executive session, will not be returning to regular session afterwards. Do I have a motion to move into executive session? Have a second? All in favor? Okay.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I move that the select board adjourn. All right, roll call vote, Dennington, aye. Al? Aye. Tim?
Aye.
Okay, thanks, adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the next item on the agenda is Atlantic Management Corp. Think that's on the agenda just to remind the board that we have a joint meeting with the select board tomorrow. We've been sent the proposed bylaw. I don't think we need to have much discussion tonight. Okay. The next item on the agenda, subdivision rules and regulations update. That's Alan.
Thanks very much. There has not been a lot of movement since the last time we met, partially because I was away on vacation. Also because we're trying to get a shared space set up. One thing I did do is to take all of the ideas that were floating around and try to create a tracker of some sort. I suspect the things that were shared with me as I joined and the things that we've all collected are not in some sort of priority order. And so my thinking is to share this around with you, Mimi, and with Bill, and kind of have us sort of figure out which ones we think are either more important or timely or have a deadline or something like that. Because we know, I think time is a little bit scarce. So if we can figure out which ones should be attacked first for whatever reason, we can then reorder and reprioritize and go from there. So I did, as a standalone, I just this evening sent around a document for us to look at. And then once that space is created, we can upload it there and then we can figure out how to move forward.
Okay. I think that we want to, if we're going to update the rules and regulations, just update them all because we have to do a hearing for them. So to do a hearing and then just do, one thing. And I don't think there's any, well, I'm sure Bill would disagree, but he has some priority items, but.
So there's a hearing for each one, correct?
So to update the rules and regulations, we would need to do a hearing. So my thought is that would just update all of them.
Okay, I misunderstood. I thought you were saying a hearing for each, which is why I
But-
was suggesting prior.
Well, if we prioritize and say, well, we just wanted to do, paving depth,
Mhm.
we'd have to have a hearing for that and do paving depth, and then that would be good, but the rest of them would still be from 1980, whatever.
Okay, yeah, so and then in that respect, you're right, the order doesn't matter. We'll do them all. And then when we're ready to present and vote, then we can do that then.
Perfect, thank you. Anyone else have anything on that?
Al, did you, so you met with Bill Cundiff, and did he give you all his priorities to this point? Not his priorities, did he give you all his recommendations to this point?
Only
Okay.
through sort of email and conversation, but we have not met face to face about it. So
Okay,
I do have a handful and I can share that with our entire board if you like.
Yeah,
That way, if there's any that maybe some of others of us here know about, but I don't, we can consider adding them.
I was gonna say, so you emailed that this evening? Did
Yes.
you copy planning too, right?
Yeah, I copied
Okay,
both.
good. So what I want to point out is if you want to meet with us sometime or with me, I have a folder of things that Bill has been sending me
Okay,
over a long period of time, like building them up.
Yep.
And we'll see if anything is missed and you can add those to your list.
sounds great.
Okay,
Thanks.
So everything Bill copied me on, I punted to Al.
okay, good.
Thank you very much. This is a heavy lift. Appreciate it. I think we're going to move things out of order a little bit and take the next thing, the A&R, which we asked to continue from the last meeting. So the A&R on 38 Turnpike Road, was before us the last meeting. We had asked the proponent if they would continue it, so we had an opportunity to speak with town council. Town council opined that because it's not the subdivision land into 2 or more lots, it's a parcel and a lot, it's not a subdivision, so endorsing the A&R is the way to go, so.
Good. I
Welcome.
Passed my legal 101 class. Peter Bemis Engineering Design. So we have our A&R, again, creating parcel A as the intent of it. And I have the Mylar for you for consideration tonight. So, and I brought 3 additional prints because I think you might have,
Yeah, we
Started.
accidentally put the last meeting's date on it already. We wrote it in, so Peter was kind enough to print us 3 more to sign.
Thank you.
okay,
Ms. Houlihan,
No questions. Hello.
thank you.
Ms. DeMaria,
No questions, thank you.
Ms. Braccio,
No questions. Thank you.
Mr. Belniak.
No questions.
Do I have a motion?
Yes, I make a motion to endorse the approval not required plan submitted for 38 Turnpike Road, map 39, parcel 38.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, Latrell, yes?
Houlihan, yes.
Demiria, yes.
Brascio, yes.
Belniak, yes.
So Peter, if you leave us
Just leave it. yeah.
plans,
All right.
and then we'll get the endorsement form signed as well, and then you can, I'll call you
Get 'em
tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Colleen, do you have the new letter with the date you printed today, the new endorsement? Yeah, you had one that says July. Want to just grab it quickly, and I'll take care of this. Thanks. We did update it today.
Okay. All right, so taking things again a little out of order, a discussion item, accessory apartment, 71 Mount Vickery. This is an existing ADU that's over in a garage that they're hoping to add an office to. Is there anyone?
Want me to give a little more detail, or is that good? That's fine, right?
Well, if they're,
Yeah, just, it was good. I know that there was some, this is kind of like amending an ADU with the, yeah, sure, come on up. This is Rick Saunders.
Yep.
Owner of the property. And
welcome.
Thanks.
So, Rick worked with planning, really well and, accommodated all the requirements we needed. And I just want to point out that, in 2004, 2005, there was an ADU, special permit issued for like 860 something square feet. In the interim, there was, a sunroom built in 2020 with a building permit that went through, just with a building permit. So now, Rick is proposing a office space 10 by 13 to add to the ADU. So in order to get everything in order, Rick wants to get this squared away with a special permit with the actual, full space of the ADU, and it's under 25% as required is 23.3% or something.
Correct.
Just want to make sure that was.
So what's required of the planning board is to do a report for the zoning board. Do you have anything you want to add to Karina's
I don't think so. I think we,
very detailed description?
it was pretty detailed. Just to give you a little background, if it helps a little bit. So back in October, we wanted to add a 10 by 13 office to this space. And at the time, I went to the building inspector and said, you know, can we work off of the existing special permit that was issued back in 2005? He said, yes. I said, okay, because I would be under the 25% of the total space. So he said, fine. I proceeded to go hire a builder, and we started, we issued applied for the building permit. At that time, the building inspector left. We have a new interim building inspector. When I went to find out what was going on with the permit, his reading was that because of the new ADU state requirements, he felt that perhaps the special permit that was issued in 2005 was out of date. He talked with Karina. Karina sort of agreed that maybe to make sure this was all cleaned up, that we basically go through and get a new special permit. So we have a ZBA meeting scheduled for August 20th. And I think all I need from the planning board is that it's within the guidelines of the restrictions. It's certainly within the setback lines and everything that was, that you're responsible for. So I'm happy to answer any other questions you might have.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Ms. Houlihan.
Hi, Rick. Thank
Hi.
you for joining us. So,
Thanks.
first of all, I thought the packet, everything was very crystal clear for us. We always appreciate because we don't often get that. So thank you.
Well, I will say, I want to say that Karina she was great, help walking me through this, because I can tell you that the day that it came up that I'm so far along down the path, and now I've got to go through a ZBA. I could have done that in October if I'd known that. Anyway, she was great, helped me through it. So that was, yeah.
Yeah, so thank you, Karina. So to that point, I think we always would like to improve processes. So I think like if there are like 3 lessons learned that we should be aware of, I mean, obviously we can't necessarily control the interpretation of the building inspector.
Correct.
But as you went through this process, is there anything that we should specifically know so the next Rick Saunders that comes in can be alleviated from this?
Boy, that's a hard one I think it would have helped if, I mean, and just to give a little further background, part of the problem was when we put the sunroom on 3 years ago or 2 years ago, this never came up. That we applied for a building permit. The permit was issued. Actually, it was Brady Sunrooms that did it. So they applied for the permit. There was never any issue. So this time around, I said, well, why do we need to go through this time when we didn't have to do it the last time? So I think it was probably just a confusion, misinterpretation. I think the current building inspector, and he's great, the interim building inspector, and I can appreciate his interpretation. I just wish we had known 6 months ago. And so we could have been a lot further along by now. So everything just got put on hold.
We agree. We're
Yeah.
sorry that that's what happened, but you know, I'm happy to support this. So
Okay, thanks.
thank you.
Mr. Murray.
Hi, thanks for coming in. I'm sorry as well. I'm sorry that you went through this. We're also, just to say, we're looking to, be able to streamline these efforts moving forward. We kind of struggled to come up with examples at some time. So thank you for being a good sport, and I support your project. I guess you weren't a good sport when you found out.
I was
But today you,
sort of a good sport. As I told Karina, that I found out, and then I went to Home Depot and I calmed down just walking around. And I came and I came back and said, okay, this is, I'm calmed down now. So
thank
Ms. Braccio.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. It's a
Sure.
pleasure having you here. And this is great feedback as well. Thank you for the kind comments about Karina. We also agree she
Yeah.
does a fabulous
Great job.
job. So thank you for that. And I think these plans are great. I appreciate the package. It was easy to visualize what it is you're trying to do, which makes it so much easier to say yes. So I look forward to supporting this.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thanks.
Mr. Bellinger.
I echo everything everyone said. Great plan, no issues. Thanks.
Appreciate it.
So so the picture, so the office is like being cantilevered off?
Yeah, so it's going to follow the exact roof line. So it sort of looks like there's a dormer.
Yeah.
It's not really a dormer. That's just architectural fake roof.
Oh,
So
okay.
basically, it's just going to follow that exact roof line.
Oh, okay. All right.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a great looking house and
Thanks.
nice that there's an ADU there. You could
Yeah.
never tell. And there's certainly plenty, what we have to look at is, off-street parking. There's no issue there.
Yeah.
Bedroom addition, so there's no change for Board of Health septic
Right.
concerns.
Yeah, yeah. So, do you have a report?
Yeah, but it's lengthy and it just talks about things in the code and customer address and standard report.
So how about if I just read them and then we get a yes or no, and then we can take a motion to send the favorable report.
As opposed to the bullet items of a sign permit. There's not 5 distinct things. It's like, is it under 25%? Is there egress and ingress? Is there parking? So yeah, you can just.
So there are 2 points of ingress and egress for the accessory apartment. The primary entrance will be a staircase at the back of the garage that opens to the apartment, and another set of exterior stairs that can be accessed through the sliding door to the deck and stairs. So there are 2 there. 2 bedrooms, 2 parking spaces. There's a big driveway there, so that's not a.
And a 3-car garage.
Yeah, right.
Oh, okay. I guess that's pretty much. And it meets the, meets the under 25% of the habitable floor area of the entire dwelling plus the accessory building. Meets all other zoning. So we would take a motion to recommend the granting of the special permit.
So moved.
I second.
The motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, Latrell, yes?
Houlihan, yes.
Demiria, yes.
Brascio, yes.
Belniak, yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So Rick,
Thanks, guys.
I'll update that memo so that it's nice and clean, and then we'll forward it to you and Lara at the ZBA, and she'll
Okay.
send it to the planning, ZBA members prior to your public hearing.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks.
Next couple days.
Yeah.
You're
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Go back to bylaws, you think? Or do 119? Okay. Yep. The next item on the agenda, we're going a little out of order because we ran a little late, is 118 Turnpike Road, back 9. Suite 4, a major site plan approval for a change of use from office to interior recreation, athletic, or exercise facility? Sure.
Okay, I can do that. So being a major site plan approval, it's a public hearing. So this is a public hearing notice for major site plan approval, 118 Turnpike Road, Suite 103, map 37, lot 118-004. Southborough Planning Board shall hold a public hearing on Monday, July 14th, 2025 at 7 PM in the McAuliffe Hearing Room, 17 Common Street, Southborough, Mass, and via Zoom to consider the application of Eric Barberi, Patriot Indoor Golf, Inc. for the property located at 118 Turnpike Road, Suite 103 for major site plan approval per Town Code 174-10. This hearing is regarding the change of use of 4,601 square feet, which is Suite 103, from office to athletic exercise facility located primarily in the Business Highway Zoning District along Route 9. Copy of this application and plans may be viewed at the Planning Office at the Southborough Townhouse during normal business hours or on the Planning Board Agenda Center at www.southborough.ma.gov/agenda center/planning-4-29. Any person wishing to be heard on the proposed plan should appear at the time and place designated or join virtually via Zoom at the following link, www.southborough.ma.gov/74/virtual-meetings. Mimi Luchel, Chair, Southborough Planning Board. The ads for this legal ad will run on June 30th, 2025, and Monday, July 7th, 2025. A copy of the submittal was sent to the town departments. I don't believe we received any comments back. This is essentially a change of use for that space. There's no exterior work proposed. It's my understanding they'll have to get sign permits for anything that you're going to put outside. Right, and that would come through the planning board if they're non-compliant signs for a report. Yep, that's it, and that takes us to tonight.
Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. If I can just introduce myself, my name is George Bonan. On behalf of the property owner, David and Anna Ferris. To my left is the applicant, Eric Sorry, I just said it outside too. Eric Barbieri, yes. And the business owner. And I'll allow him to summarize and speak to the back nine.
Yeah. Hi, thanks everybody for your consideration. Yeah, so the Back Nine is a members first indoor golf studio offering year-round access to the game through Full Swing simulators. It's the same cutting edge technology that's trusted by many of today's top PGA Tour professionals. And our spaces also include a putting green and some lounge style seating, creating a welcoming and upscale environment where golfers of all skill levels can practice, play, or train. What makes the Back Nine unique is our flexible access model. We'll offer public tee times during standard business hours so non-members can enjoy the facility. And then outside of those hours, the space is available exclusively to members through a secure app-based entry system. Each entry is time-stamped, it's logged. The facility is monitored by 24/7 high-definition security cameras. We also use remote access software, which allows myself and my team to manage and monitor the space in real time, making sure it's safe, accountable experience at all hours. It's important to note we do not serve alcohol. We're not operating as a bar or a restaurant. The Back Nine's a clean, quiet, low-impact recreational use, similar in nature to boutique fitness studios. Typical visit involves 1 to 4 players coming in for their reserve session and then leaving when finished. We're also committed to being an active part of the community. We're going to offer seasonal leagues for both adults and youth. We're going to have structured social opportunities for golfers to stay engaged throughout the year. Leagues will help foster community, friendly competition, regular play in a fun, supportive environment. And in addition, the Back Nine will support local schools, youth sports, and nonprofit groups by hosting fundraising events and tournaments. In short, the Back Nine is more than just an indoor golf studio. It's a safe, modern, and community-focused facility designed to enhance access to the game, provide a positive experience for residents of all ages. So thanks again for your time and consideration, and happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Ms. Houlihan.
Hi. Thanks. Nice to see you again. Welcome, Eric.
Thank you.
Thanks for considering to bring your business to Southborough. So we always appreciate that. I see you have one operating in Maynard.
Not yet. So
Okay.
I'm in the process of getting bids and hoping to break ground in about 30 to 45 days, but kind of targeting the same fallish timeframe as Southborough.
Okay. So I think the concept is really interesting. So my hesitations are, so first of all, I love the idea. I think being able to have a recreation in that area, the 24/7.
Yeah.
So there aren't any businesses except for the storage facility that will be 24/7 that operate that way.
Yeah.
And so help me understand the rationale and
Sure.
of course I think about I know there's obviously revenue benefits and all those things.
Yeah.
I think about the cons around, which is your problems with liabilities, but I also
Sure.
think about challenges if we need fire and rescue, if you get the drunk foursome that logs in and comes in and becomes troublesome to the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So just trying to understand
Sure.
that.
Yeah. So the Back Nine's not my concept. This is a franchise, right? So that we have probably up to about 70, 75 other locations across the country, all operating 24/7. There's 200 plus locations under contract due to open. So it's a very fast growing franchise concept that's moving everywhere. The 24/7 is a tagline and something that we use in a lot of our advertising, right? One of our taglines is where golf never sleeps. So, it's a lot ingrained in our marketing. Really, the 24/7 aspect piece is only open to members only. So we do offer public tee times. So if you weren't a member, you wanted to come try the place out, you could book a tee time. That's going to stop around 5, 6, maybe 7 o'clock, the latest at night. And typically someone will be on staff to support them as they enjoy the facility. Outside of that time, it will just be our members. So it'll just be people that know the area, know the building itself, know how to get in, get out, that type of thing. I will have 24/7 access, like I said in the review there, to monitor what's going on inside there. It's timestamped, so I know exactly who did come in. So if someone's creating a problem, that's someone I'm not going to want to become a permanent member, and that's someone I'm going to want to keep from accessing the facility again, right? I'm just as concerned with the facility itself. I did go through with our CEO on kind of how often it's used outside of the normal business hours. And really, it's more early in the morning, people who like to go there before work and treat it as a workout. So 4:30, 5:30 in the morning, there's some activity. And then if there's a major sporting event, maybe the Celtics are playing the Lakers and it's a West Coast game, you'll typically see people out there till the end of the game, maybe 11, 11:30, that type of thing. There are some franchises, I'm not planning to offer this, but some franchises that sell a after hours only membership for someone that might be a night owl. Typically those memberships might be over the road truckers or doctors that work different kind of shifts where they want to come unwind, get a workout in before they go home and wake up their family or whatever it might be. I'm not planning to offer those types of memberships. I really want to focus on the high value membership model where someone's coming and signing up for a year. If it becomes a problem, that's something I can definitely address. But in just the years that the franchise itself's been open, I haven't heard any stories where anyone's had any major issues like that. And with us not serving alcohol, that's something that hopefully we won't have to deal with.
But people could bring their own in.
Yeah, the same as
Yeah.
Southborough Golf
Right.
Course or any
Yeah.
golf course. Yeah, that could happen, sure.
So I think I know this is just the start of the hearings process. I think it would be helpful for us just to get some of that data to
Okay.
be able to see like what is the utilization rate between the hours of, I'd say, like midnight and 4 a.m. It's an issue for me personally. I couldn't speak whether the planning board, but I think once we set that precedent in town,
Yep.
it becomes a challenge for us to not uphold it for other establishments. And so really trying to understand that will be very important for me. I think other than that, that was really the only big question. And then around tournaments or those types of things, the parking situation, I think where you're situated, that's a tough retail outlet. There's a lot of retail establishments, and so there's some limited parking there now. So tournament parking, those types of things, I would imagine that would probably need to run us over to maybe the property next door into that area. I don't remember if Ferris owns that whole area or is
We
that
own
Tree?
a lot on the other side of the access drive
Okay,
that is not used at all pretty much right now.
okay.
And there are, I want to say, at least 100 spots there.
Okay, because I think that's something that should probably be comprehensive as we think about this plan moving forward. If you're going to host those tournaments, because we all know that traffic and challenges in this little town are a big challenge.
And one thing on the tournaments, so typically when tournaments are run, it is a full day, but it's not everyone comes at once and participates in the tournament. It's something, because we're only going to have 5 bays, so we can only accommodate so many golfers at any given time anyway. And a lot of times you can come in, there's a part of the software where you log in, you say, I'm in this tournament, you identify yourself, you log in under that person, and then you play that round, and that gets put to the tournament. So tournaments typically, if it's a charity tournament, they'll stretch over a 2 or 3 day period, and it allows existing members also to continue to utilize the facility. So it's not just one tournament coming in kind of overtaking everything, right? When I've got members paying, $200 a month, and they
Sure.
want to be able to use it too. So yeah, I wouldn't think it's going to be something where we're going to have a huge amount of people all at once, right?
Perfect. Well, Eric, thanks for coming. Really, I think the concept's really cool, and I will look forward to the hearing process.
Great.
Thanks.
Mr. Murray.
Hi there. Thank you both for coming in. On the 24/7 concept, I see that you're asking for a couple waivers. Oh, by the way, I think the concept's very cool as well.
Thank you.
But I have a similar concern about the 24/7 and also wanted to see if you could just expand on the waiver requests.
Sure. Could you be, I'm sorry, could you?
Oh,
be
yeah,
more
they're
specific?
both on lighting, I believe.
Yes.
Yes, they're both lighting. Is that correct?
Mm.
Signs and lighting, yes.
You need a copy, George?
Oh, I'm sorry, you would like me to expand on it, right now?
Yeah,
Well,
you
yeah,
speak
I'm sorry.
20.
I thought you meant at a later date. No,
We can do it at a later.
no, I can do it right now.
Do a book report.
No, I
at the
don't, I
next
can,
council.
I can tell you in 2 seconds. So obviously,
Is it related to the 24/7?
Correct,
What is
yes.
lighting? Is it not, is it, not going to work with the current lighting and why not?
well, the reason for the waiver request was because the back nine is going to have a wall sign, obviously lit up, illuminated. And one of the bylaws, and I'm sorry, I don't have them in front of me right now, but one of the bylaws speaks to what hours wall signs or other signs too can be lit up in Southborough, as you all know. And I think it's supposed to be shut off at 10, if I'm not mistaken.
6 to 10.
Correct. So obviously, if it's a 24/7 facility, we need that wall sign lit up 24/7, and it's for to find the location of the property and for safety as well. It's going to be dark at night. The more lighting in that particular area, the safer environment it's going to be. And I think Karina, could you remind me of the second waiver request? It has to do with lighting as well.
Sign may be illuminated between 10 and 6, except signs identifying police or fire stations or businesses open to serve the public on site. The other one was, the planning board reserves the right to limit and regulate the amount of illumination on the project site. Let me see. Any luminaire with a lamp, it's meeting the thresholds of the
I believe this.
outdoor illumination, and it says, operating more, planning, Southborough zoning bylaw 174-11C2D, no sign may be illuminated between 10 and 6, except signs identifying police or fire station. So you want the time frame, but also what is on the sign.
Correct. Well, I actually think the one I just spoke about speaks to signs specifically. The other one speaks to outdoor illumination in general. So the pole lighting, for example, in the parking lot. We would like at least 1 or 2 light poles in that general vicinity to be on during the night, either by motion sensor or just on all night. And I will defer to the planning board as to what they'd prefer. We're happy to do either, but we do need a waiver as it relates to that zoning bylaw.
Just 118 is, why did I think this was DePietri property? Is this isn't the red code? Like,
No.
this isn't Tomaso?
No, it's our building where our offices are located.
So it's the,
in front of where the 40B.
oh, okay. So
Yeah.
I was getting confused. Okay, so that's the one that's already illuminated all night long.
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
No, that's 134, 132.
Okay. Okay. That's the one. Okay. So that could require change in lighting poles, because I don't think you don't have automation on those poles now.
I'm unsure, but well, it's going to depend on what the board would like to see in terms of lighting. Would you like to see a motion censored lighting, or can we just leave the poles on all night? Because those can be put on a timer, and it's on us to figure out how to separate, let's say, pole A, pole B from pole C and pole D. But it may not require a change of poles.
Maybe you could explain where the floor plan is, that unit is in the building. Is it to the rear of, does it face Route 9, or is it
Yes.
facing the rear of the property?
It faces Route 9. It's on the furthest left side of the building. And I'm not sure if you have the architectural drawings in front of you or can flip to them, but or the site plan I provided. It's highlighted in blue, I believe. So it'll be, the proximity to Route 9 is the closest in that premises than any other unit in the building.
One more. one back. There we go.
So is the shipping business like right next?
It's right
to it?
behind it, exactly.
Okay.
Right behind it, I should say, right? Well,
So here's Route 9, here's Route 9. Is this Route 9 along here, right? Yeah. So you're,
correct. So actually, the shipping business is going to be a little closer in theory then. It's at the corner, the shipping business and the correct, where Karina's pointing, yes.
so you're somewhat facing Route 9.
Yes.
You're, you're more facing almost the access drive a little bit here. Okay.
Is the sign supposed to be?
It'll be in the if you're familiar with it, where the beehivepros.com sign is right now, we are proposing to replace it with the back 9 sign.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, this conversation is helpful because I couldn't picture exactly what you're trying to do. Yeah, no, I'm good. Do you want to continue?
No, go, I'll wait my
No,
turn.
that's all. I just, I think I
Sorry.
have to think about that. I'm not a fan of having lights left on in the parking lot all night long. I don't know how it will work with safety, with motion sensor there, but this was my little concern
Mhm.
in there and also setting a precedent. But, I look forward to hearing more about the plan. Thanks.
Ms. Braccio.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing this project forward. I think it's definitely interesting. I think you picked a spot that's outside of neighborhoods, and if there was a spot to have something that may be 24/7, that's probably it. With, easy access to Route 9, to be able to turn around and head back, say you're from Worcester. So I think location-wise, I think you picked a great spot for it. I am a little concerned about the 24/7, but the location makes it a little easier for me to understand. So the light is a little bit of an issue. I would worry, I think motion lights are great, but if it's 4 o'clock in the morning and I'm coming out into a dark parking lot that who knows who may have come upon the building while I was inside and I'm walking out, the lights are going on. For safety wise, I would be a little nervous about the motion. So, but again, I think it's a great project. I think it's an interesting concept to bring to Southborough, and I look forward to moving this forward. Thank you.
Mr. Belnier.
Thank you. Just to follow up on Ms. Braccio's comment about the perfect location, the back 9 on Route 9, I mean, I'm not sure if you planned that, but that's it's pretty fantastic from a marketing perspective.
It never actually came to me.
Well, you can steal that one. I won't charge you for it.
Would be a free membership there.
I do have a couple of questions, and not necessarily to be addressed now, just to follow up the next time you're in. And I suspect some of these might already be on your list. But because it's a change in use, I'd be interested in understanding what the net change in traffic would be, particularly during the PM peak hours. Not so concerned about the AM peak hours and off-peak because it's off-peak. The second question I have would be the net change in wastewater use. I suspect it wouldn't be all that much given the kinds of uses, but would like to know that. I'm going to go against the grain here. I don't have much concern about the 24/7 access, and that's only because you said you've got 70 plus open now and 200 in the pipeline. This tells me that this is not your first rodeo. This would be your 71st rodeo, something like that. So I suspect you've done this before and you have data to support that. So much as Ms. Houlihan said earlier, if you could bring some of that supporting data the next time you meet to either give us something to chew on or to assuage some concerns we have. What would be your average number of members per site? And I know that might vary based on size, but again, average just to understand. What is the maximum capacity? So for example, you said 5 bays, I'm assuming a foursome per bay, that's 20 people, but then you have some associated lounge space. I'm not sure if there's a maximum capacity per fire code or something like that. So understanding like what would be the peak condition of the number of people you'd have in the building at any one given time. You mentioned before that if an incident were to come up, you would not want that person to be part of your membership, which I wholly support. If you could provide any data on what the total number of incidents you've had historically across the lifetime of your company.
Sure.
And the last one is, I did notice on the site plan, there's a call out for a wet bar. You did say you're not serving alcohol. So is that just like water or a sink or something like that? Or
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, anyone wants to rinse out a can or something before throwing it in recycling, that type of thing, just the sink for that. Yeah.
Those are my comments. Thank you.
Mr. Baliak, if I may, We can definitely provide you the net change in wastewater use. We have a civil engineer within the firm that can do that. In terms of the change in traffic, that would require I believe, a traffic engineer to conduct a study. And the cost of that, in my opinion, would be a little disproportionate to what we're proposing here. We're really we're not proposing any exterior changes. So I don't know if it would be just to subject the applicant to such a financial burden.
Understood. If not that, if there is other data you have about other sites, about even anecdotally, like we see this many this many vehicles entering and exiting during a tournament. We see this many vehicles entering and exiting at 5 o'clock on a Thursday. Just something to get a comparison. And for my opinion, I can't speak for the board. I don't need a full-on traffic study. I'll save that for some other project. For this one, I think just getting a sense of it would help.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, we'll provide you any traffic information we can.
Yeah. Yeah. And as far as the number of people, so like you said, you were dead on, right? Usually no more than 4 people on average. And I can get these more exact numbers, but it's more like 2.3-ish per people come in. A lot of guys come in by themselves, treat it as a range session. A lot of times it's just 2 guys showing up, and then there are foursomes that come in and play. So yeah, at max, if there was 5 bays, all 4, you have 20 people. That lounge area is really, you get there 10 minutes early before your tee time, and you want to putt around a little bit as you wait for your bay to open up. The booking system only allows tee times to be booked at the bays for the single hours. So no one can be double booked, and you can't get in to the facility without an active tee time. So like if you were a member and you just were driving by and said, oh, hey, maybe I'll go in and see if something's open, you can't get in without an active tee time. So that really does cut down on unnecessary people coming in, hanging out, and, taking up a spot and a space within the facility.
Thanks.
Sure.
Mimi, can I ask one follow-up? Just quickly, what is your time frame that you're hoping or you're targeting to open? I'm just curious.
Yeah, as right now in summertime, indoor golf's not as not as much of a draw, but really trying to open for this fall as people start to transition from wanting to go outside and getting somewhere a little bit more warm. Sure.
Thank you. Thank you. This is very interesting. I may have to take up golf.
It is going to be a very accessible location. I know my wife, I'm an avid golfer as well as George is. My wife doesn't play that much, and she's very excited because it's a space where you can be bad without anybody watching.
Yeah.
And get some reps in, and then have the confidence to go out on the course. So, and then I have 3 children, 2 boys that are 9 and 11 that are very obsessed with golf, and they have nowhere to compete at that age. So I'm really looking forward to starting up some youth leagues. They want to be able to get competitive. They're doing something down the Cape now. I'm in a junior PGA thing, but it's very short. They compete 4 or 5 times and that's it. And they want me to start some leagues. So I'm really hoping that it helps bring the youth into the game and gives them a place where they can practice and learn and get better and, fall in love with the game in an early age. Cause I wish I did. It'd be a lot better if I was.
So I am concerned about the 24/7. So even a member in the middle of the night needs a tee time
Exactly.
before they can
Needs
get
tee
in.
time. I'm the system that we use for security is facial recognition. So I'll know exactly who it is. All the members get photographed as part of their onboarding process into the system. So it is something that it's only open to members. You do need an active tee time, time-stamped. You'll know what bay they're in, how long they're in there for, what time they leave, and then their whole session while they're in there is recorded. So any damage that's done in the facility or anything that's done outside in the parking lot will have video record of that.
Okay, makes me feel better. And maybe we can have a condition that we can review it in a year or something and see if there's any complaints or something.
Sure.
So there's no security. It's just the automated.
At that time, yeah,
Yeah.
it's all automated, correct.
In the sign, I don't think that's waivable. It's part of the basic requirements.
When you say Are you speaking to the illumination, the hours?
Yeah.
I believe it is. I think it says it in the bylaw. It could be. You know, there was a question actually whether we were even subject to this bylaw, because the latter part of the bylaw says, well, I'll read the whole bylaw. It says no sign may be illuminated between 10 PM and 6 AM except signs identifying police, fire stations, or businesses open to serve the public on site. I would say that that third description fits what we're proposing here. And if the board disagrees, I would still say this bylaw is waivable, with obviously the approval of the planning board. And maybe that's something Jay can touch upon by next hearing, if you want to seek council's opinion.
Maybe. I don't know. So the sign that you want 24/7 is going to be on the building, not up at at the road?
No, it'll be on the building, correct. It'll be a wall sign, exactly where the beehivepros.com sign is right now.
Okay. Will it be the same size as that beehive?
I
Big-
can't speak to whether it'll
big
be the same size, but it will not, it'll be zoning compliant in terms of size.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it won't be larger than the allowed 75 square feet.
Yeah, I need to mull, I need to mull the 24/7. Because, as Ms. Houlihan said, we have no signs illuminated on Route 9 now.
No businesses that are open 24/7.
Well, there's the storage.
I-
But your sign isn't illuminated
No.
24/7.
I made sure of that.
But once you get one, then everybody else wants one.
I will say though,
And then we look like Framingham and Westboro.
I understand, and I would agree with you, Madam Chair, but the 24/7 aspect of the business is so ingrained in their marketing. It's
Right.
really part of
I
them.
understand that.
I think if there was ever an instance where a waiver was deserved, it would probably be this one. And let's not forget, as you all know, I believe there's only one residential abutter within 300 feet, and they are on the opposite side of the 120 building on a completely different road. The lighting's just not going to be seen by a residential property owner. It's going to be just Route 9.
Right, but we like to be dark sky
I understand.
compliant, so we can have fireflies in town. So do we want to continue, get that additional information and continue to the next? I think I need to think about if you have any creative ideas of how to mitigate the lighting.
I will certainly touch base with our lighting engineer and see if they can come up with something. Before you vote on it, may I just go through what I think we need to provide you for the next hearing, just so I'm clear. Marnie, you asked for data of a utilization rate between the hours of midnight and 4 AM, correct? Is there anything else you'd like to see? Debbie, I think you were pretty good. You didn't ask for anything. I'm just kidding.
Hey!
You're just learning though. This is great. See, you're recapping
seasoned
everything.
vet.
Right? You've been through this rodeo.
I think you weren't seeking anything either, Amy, right? Mr. Balniak, we're going to provide you all the traffic information we have. Also, a net change in any wastewater use. At the peak number of people at any given one time.
I think you may have addressed that already by the number, the bays and the lounge space. I can't speak for the board, but for me personally, you satisfied that, so.
Thank you. And I think that was it then from you, correct?
I was also looking for just data on the number of incidents, if any, you've had historically,
Thank you.
and what the average number of members you have per site
I'm sorry, average number
of members.
of members.
Yeah, because that'll help me understand. Obviously, there's no way of guessing the number of public people who come in between the regular hours.
Yeah.
By me understanding the number of members you have, that's the theoretical max who could be using the site between 11 PM and 4 AM.
Yeah.
Not to say they all will, but just it gives me a number that would be the max, so.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
the,
can-
the franchise rule of thumb, and this can change. Some locations do go a tad over, but typically we see utilization rates at 40 members per bay. Once you go over that number, people start stepping on each other's toes and start getting dissatisfied with the access to tea times. So my intention is to not go above that 40 members per bay. So this would be 200 member-ish max with the 5 bays.
And Madam Chair, you just asked us to get creative in terms of lighting, see if we can provide the board any alternative measures as it relates to the wall sign, correct?
Yeah.
And I think I would touch upon the just general outdoor illumination of the street poles too. I think actually Karina may have asked me to do that.
So
That's fine.
Yeah, so that was the question on whether motion sensor or if it can be a,
What is capable?
I think those are
Oh.
questions best posed to our lighting engineer, and I'm
Yeah.
very curious to hear what he has to say. And if
that would, yeah, that
there's a
would help.
plan I can provide you, I'll be happy to do that by next hearing.
Yeah. So to just, well, from my opinion, do the minimum light possible.
Yep.
That's still safe, and for the sign that people can still see it, but it's not like.
Mhm.
So you can't see it from Worcester when you're going east.
And my only add would be on the sign. So the franchise, I'm sure, has a sign requirement.
Yeah.
So we're learning that signs are being put up and then you're coming to the zoning board and getting, and people are getting them approved. Our ideal is that people come with a sign that's within our code.
Okay.
So can we just ensure that the franchise sign requirements actually are what is in the code? And if not, address it during this public hearing process versus an after the fact?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And we do have to apply for, I know I have to come in front of this board or the ZBA rather, but then the planning board touches upon it for at least window signage. There's going to be some display of window signage that will exceed the 10 square feet that's currently allowed. So I'll be in front of the board for that.
And you record, or did you already get a special permit to?
I have
for the
not,
change?
no. We don't have the final plans as it relates to those signs, so I'm waiting for those and then I'll
Okay.
apply for them.
But for the use, do you need a?
Oh, no, we have not got that special permit. I apologize. That's scheduled for August, so I don't mind this hearing being continued at all because we're not going to be heard by the ZBA until August anyways. I don't know the date. Okay. There you go.
So should I
That-
make that?
On that
motion?
note,
Thank you. I'll make that motion to continue the public hearing for 118 Turnpike Road, the back 9 Suite 4, major site plan approval / change of use to 7 PM on August 18th, 2025.
I second.
oh, I didn't, before we go on, was there anyone in the room or online that had any questions on this?
There's 2 attendees, no hands raised.
Okay.
And also, I just want to check the approval deadline is August 23rd. The decision deadline.
So that's okay, right?
Yeah, so we're good.
Okay. So we have a motion and that second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, Latrell, yes?
Houlihan, yes?
Demiria, yes.
Brascio, yes.
Belniak, yes?
Thank you very much. We'll
Thank
see you in August.
I'm going to step out for a moment and then.
Okay. Oops, the next item on the agenda is 10 Turnpike Road, storage facility modification for major site plan approval. I think they have, the proponent has requested to continue without testimony. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Great. I make a motion to continue the public hearing for 10 Turnpike Road modification to major site plan approval to 7 o'clock on August 18th, 2025.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, Latrell, yes?
Houlihan, yes.
Demiria, yes.
Brascio, yes.
I make a motion for the extension to decision to, can I speak? For 10 Turnpike Road contractor facility modification to MSPA, decision due date to extend to August 22nd, 2025.
And I second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, Latrell, yes?
Houlihan, yes.
Demiria, yes.
Brascio, yes.
Very good. So that brings us to the next item on the agenda. 250 Turnpike Road, Contractor's Yard Building, Major Site Plan Approval, and Special Permit for Lower Impact Development. So on 7/7, we received submission number 8 that, to address comments from our 6/23 hearing, and also we have a draft decisions to discuss. Anything else you want to add, Karina?
So, the decisions were sent to the applicant team on Friday and to the planning board as well. Marnie had some comments on some of the conditions and findings, so we'll do that as we go through, I assume. We have to remember that there, are lid waivers that we still have.
To vote on, yeah.
Yep. And then I just want to point out, there are some corrections that need to be made to the parking calc on the plan set. So, that'll have to be incorporated in the approved set of plans that we discussed.
Yes. After this is voted on and assuming it gets approved, do I submit or would the applicant submit a final set of plans to the board? And I can just, 2 sets, okay, and I can make those corrections to that set, correct?
Yeah, if the planning board agrees to that.
Sure.
If that's
Mm-hmm.
what's happened in the past. So just to explain to the board that, in the parking calc, I can't remember which sheet it was, but the
Should be S2.
S2, the gross floor area for the parking calculation was based on the footprint and not on actually the square footage of the 19,200. So instead of 10 spaces, it really requires 13 spaces. So there, 49 spaces required. It still falls with under the 50 spaces provided. Just had to add 3, so you're still within your
Correct.
excess
Yeah.
amount there.
And the incorrect subsection was cited as well. Subsection E12 was cited and it was supposed to be E10.
Right, section 174-12E is the calculation density for the warehouse use. And accidentally it said 12 and not 10. Warehouse is under section 10. Right. Okay, so those are the things I just want everybody to be aware of. Yeah.
Well, hello.
Hi again. George Bon on behalf of the applicant FD 250 Turnpike LLC. I have nothing to add. If I'm not sure if the board wanted to kickstart going through the decisions, and I heard that you had some comments, Marnie, as do I, but I may reserve them until the end.
So should we just, if there are any general comments on the plans, go through the board and then we can work through the decision? Ms. Houlihan.
General comments on the plan, no, thank you. It looked like everything is addressed. I just want to specifically call out Karina. This is why Karina's our town planner. She's so detail oriented, and I just want to commend her, like even just finding that on D5. She has been overwhelmingly taxed with many different projects in front of her, and it's a lot to juggle. Thank you. Really appreciate it because you help us look good. So thank you.
You're welcome. I tried.
That's my.
I'll echo that sentiment, by the way,
Thank you.
coming from the developer side.
Mr. Maria.
Thank you, and thank you for coming. I do not have any questions or comments. Thanks.
Ms. Braccio,
Same here, no questions or comments.
Mr. Belniak.
No comments on that. I don't think I'm permitted to comment on this, so.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. All right, so let's start with going through the decision then.
Yeah, so just to point out that even though it's two separate decisions for the two permits, the major site plan and the lid, the documents used, submitted, the documents submitted, other information submitted, the findings and the conditions are identical. So that the permits, there's no question. The waivers are different for each decision. And there are some citing to specific criteria in the findings about a lid versus the site plan. But other than that, all the actual details are the same.
Yep.
Both.
Did you want to start, Ms. Houlihan?
Sure. So the first was just around findings. So in reviewing the findings, unless there's procedural history, anybody had comments on? No. The findings, it was fine for me. It was just more of an add, did we want to add? So it was the question around, we have finding number 10, which is around the sign needing to be moved based on Mass DOT. And so I just didn't know if we wanted to include anything around the fact that they had to come and get a special, we wrote a report that got submitted to the ZBA, and they did get granted a ZBA permit for their sign size because it exceeded. So I just thought maybe documenting that.
I think that's a great idea. It's just adding a sentence there, George,
Yep.
that says something like, the sign exceeded Southborough standards and the applicant received a special permit for the sign size, referencing the planning board's recommendation to approve with the conditions of that memo that went to ZBA.
That's absolutely fine. If you're gonna do that, I would not just limit it to the standing sign. I think because we sought relief for the wall sign as well, you may want to add a reference to that.
I'm okay with that. That was the only thing in findings that I had a recommended addition for. You want me to go to conditions?
Yeah.
Okay. So in conditions, and I actually think this is, it's a nuance, and I think it's just something the planning board should consider for all conditions. And so the first one is number 4, which is the existing drainage and stormwater management system shall be cleaned and maintained, including but not limited to blah, blah, blah. We never provide a minimum expectation. And so I thought we should at least place a minimum expectation as to include shall be cleaned at least once annually and maintained, including but not limited to, or shall be cleaned and maintained at least once annually, because I think we've seen in other situations where drainage and stormwater, and I'm thinking about that whole neighborhood that our next group is coming, that Carriage Hill area, that soccer field, that stormwater never got maintained and it got all backed up. So I'm just wondering if that the planning board, it makes sense to put at least once annually.
My only hesitation on that is that those basins are considered wetlands.
Wetlands.
And they're under the jurisdiction of the Concom. Does the Concom have any type of schedule for
Yes.
maintenance? Okay.
Well, in terms of maintenance, I'm unsure. I provided the former order of conditions, but I can't speak right now specifically whether they have us clean it out regularly. I know it does say maintain, but it doesn't. I don't think it is specific in terms of how often we have to do it, but I honestly can't speak to it.
Was
So
that
how
on
about if we put or per recommendation of the Conservation
Yeah,
Commission?
Yep. Or, yep.
Is that
That
okay?
makes
That's fine,
sense.
yeah. But we have an NOI, so we're gonna be subject to that.
So it would be at least once annually or subject to the conditions of the Conservation Commission on number 4.
You may want to say, maintained regularly unless such maintenance conflicts with any conditions,
Subject to.
subject to, yes,
Conservation.
just a conflict.
Yep, right, unless it conflicts.
with any requirements of the Conservation Commission?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Barring any conflicting conditions of the Conservation Commission.
Okay, of the Conservation Commission. Okay.
And then my second one was, honestly, it was like the subtle yet not so subtle messaging to our friendly developer family on number 23 is bolding and capitalizing prior, a pre-construction meeting with the planning department shall be had prior to any exterior construction activity on the site. We know we've had some issues before, so I just wanted to bold, capitalize that word. And then to also include, to bold, or not capitalize, but bold at least 14 days before the start of construction, the applicant shall provide written notice to the planning board. I know it doesn't really do much, but I think it just tried to emphasis of the importance of the constant communication that I feel was subject to being broken down prior to these.
I have no objection to that.
Thank you. Those were my only suggestions.
Is the rest of the board okay with that? I think that's a good idea.
You had number 27. Did you want to include?
Oh, yes, sorry.
Okay.
And then, sorry, number 27 is after construction is completed and no later than what was my exact language? I think it was, within.
No more than 4 weeks after construction is completed.
Adding no more than 4 weeks before or after construction is completed. And again, this kind of, we never seem to get the as-bills until people come back and they've changed them so significantly that we never saw them. So it tasks us a little bit to track it, but that would be my other suggestion.
I'm okay with adding a time frame. I would just ask that it may be extended a little bit. 4 weeks may be a tight timeline for an engineer to get out there or a surveyor to get out there and create it would almost have to happen right away. I would like to leave a little room, if I could ask for 8 weeks.
I'm okay with that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, 8.
Is everyone okay with that?
Did you want that bolded?
Yes, can we bold that?
Absolutely. Any bolding, underlining, italics, knock yourself out.
But George, you're going to be so good at this. I mean,
Be
the
the
back
best.
nine's going to be great.
No, I'm gonna be a peer reviewer soon.
In an engineer.
Yeah. It's close to my PE license.
That's all, believe it or not.
Mr. Murray.
I don't have anything additional. Thank you. I agree with Marnie's suggestions.
Ms. Braccio.
I have nothing further, but I would just again like to say, Karina, you put a ton of work into this and it truly shows. So thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
I just had one little thing. So the condition number 15, chain link fence shall be privacy fencing utilizing black mesh.
That should-
Although,
Which is slats.
yeah,
Yeah,
it-
I have that on mine as well.
okay. All right.
Shall be changed to utilizing black slats?
So the D6 plans reference a white vinyl, I can't speak, Savannah model privacy fence. And it's, yeah, slats and not mesh.
Okay, is that was
It's
your?
currently mesh, I believe, and.
Right.
And
I was thinking. that
yes,
way.
it's-
yes, we,
it's
Karina
being
and I had a
upgraded.
conversation when she was drafting this, and I think we just got the
So slats.
It's slats. We want slats.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
So I'll cross out mesh and we'll put slats.
okay. I just didn't want that to conflict with,
Mhm.
did you have any changes? Bill?
I had a couple. They're very small. They're not really substantive. My first one is, and I'm on the major site plan. First one is page 5 of 9. In paragraph 7, which is the paragraph at the top of the page, the last sentence says the 2 existing loading bays will remain on site. I was wondering if we could, one, change bays to either docks or areas, and that is to make it more consistent with the bylaw. I actually prefer areas because the bylaw references loading areas as opposed to bays.
So, first of all, you have 10 pages, right?
Correct.
5 of 10. not
Page 5 of
10.
10.
So you
Yep.
got them all. It's condition number 7,
Yep.
Molly?
And it's the last sentence.
It says the 2 existing loading bays will remain on site and you prefer areas.
Yes, because it's more consistent with the bylaw. And adding to that sentence or continuing to modify it, instead of on site, I would like it to say remain at the self-storage facility to be more specific.
Yeah, right. That would be clearer because the one at the contractor's yard building was allowed to not be there because they have 10 bays essentially.
Yes.
So so strike on site and it will say at the self-storage
Facility or building. Building is
Okay.
fine.
thing is more. Okay.
Is everyone okay with that?
Mhm.
The next comment is in the following paragraph, paragraph 8, or condition 8, I should say. The second sentence in that paragraph says the site will no longer utilize the previously proposed security gate for the lower parking lot. It's not previously proposed, it's there already. So I think
Existing?
I would say the site will no longer have a security gate for the lower level parking lot.
So it doesn't exist now. You took it out, right?
No, it's there right now. It will be removed once.
It doesn't close.
It doesn't, but the gate's still there.
Is it a-
And I don't know if I won't get into it, but that gate has a ton of mechanical issues. That's why it won't close.
difficult one. So the site will no longer have
Yeah.
a security
The site will no longer have a security gate.
for the
so,
lower
yeah.
parking lot.
If you could remove utilize the previously proposed and just replace it with have a.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
The plan doesn't reflect the gate.
Correct. But
So-
there's an existing gate there now.
Oh, I
That was the
see.
previous approval had a.
I see. So because it's a condition. But if
Um,
the plan doesn't have it on it, it's not really a condition.
Maybe it should be a finding instead of a condition because
Okay.
we want to carry over,
I agree. I think
Oh,
it's
okay.
more of a
I think you're
finding
right.
than a condition.
right? It wouldn't.
I would, okay, so would you change the wording of this sentence still?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. And then you would address it, add another sentence in the findings addressing the gate. That's
no,
what
we
that
would
works.
take number 8 out of here and put it into the finding.
Okay.
Is that the intent?
Yeah.
Yes, because I don't really think it's a condition.
Yeah, it's more declarative.
It's it's what it is.
Move to findings.
Anything else?
Yes. On page 7, and this is just a typo. In the second paragraph in the decision and vote of board section, 4 lines down in the second paragraph, midway through, it references a date, June 26th, and it says 204, should be 2024. I tried to tell that one to Karina so we didn't have to do it here.
And I said, wait. Okay.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, I didn't see it either.
On page 8, and this one is actually probably the most substantive and may require a little bit of a discussion. I'd be curious to hear the board's take on it. Page 8, paragraph 7, in the second sentence, it speaks to when the lighting should be, at what time it should be motion controlled. Right now, it says after 8 PM, exterior lights will be controlled by motion sensors. I think because the hours of operation are 6 to 10, it may make more sense to keep them on until 10 and then switch them to motion sensors.
I think they should be off after 10. So this
Okay.
motion sensor was carried over when the lower lot was going to be used as exterior storage. So I left that in there because I wasn't sure.
Okay.
But if the lights are to be off at 10 PM, you don't want motion sensors after 10 PM. They're
No.
just supposed
Okay,
to
so
be
just
off.
make it, all right.
Is that acceptable? In other words, you weren't going to use motion sensors there anyway.
For the contractor yard.
For
building.
that,
the
for the
building.
local.
That was not, no.
Are there motion sensors up for the storage facility?
Yeah, there are, because they're 24.
I think,
Yeah,
are they,
There are.
there are motion sensors? You know it better than I do.
I think they are.
I think
yeah.
there were.
Hold on.
So just to be clear that we're,
Specific to the contractor's yard.
yeah, this is, yeah. That lights will be extinguished at 10 PM.
Yeah. So,
You're looking at the previous.
I was looking at the findings, if I had mentioned anything about the lighting there. Public hearings, wetland. No, I don't think the findings mentioned anything about the lighting. So this would be number 7. Would simply say exterior lighting and building mounted light fixtures for the site shall be controlled by an internal time clock which can be programmed by the owner. And then the hours of operation are listed in condition 11.
Can I ask, Karina, was this sentence copy and pasted from the 2022 decision?
Not exactly. Some of it was. The
If-
intent was similar.
If that latter portion is, and the outdoor lighting on the upper level is on motion sensors after 8, I understand that the hours of operation are different, but it may make sense to just match them.
Hey, look.
I've kind of made a mountain out of a molehill at this point.
That's what we. Hold on. I'm just going to look at the old decision really quickly here. Planning. Give me 1 second and I'll.
Mhm.
find it. Site plan. Contractor, storage facility. Decisions. Okay. So. In the conditions.
But I think it's still, your 7 is.
Let me just go
after
to the
10 PM,
condition
light should be
findings.
extinguished.
Yeah.
Waivers. Okay,
I don't
Wait.
see anything about motion sensor.
the old decision had a condition number 7 that said exterior building mounted light fixtures shall be controlled by an internal time clock which can be programmed by the owner. Lighting for the outdoor storage area shall have motion sense. After 8 PM, exterior lights will be controlled by motion sensors. So when the old configuration was the storage in the bottom lot outside,
Yeah.
lighting for outdoor storage area shall have motion sensors.
Right.
After 8 PM, exterior lights will be controlled by motion sensors. That was because you'd have activity with the
Yeah.
gate system and everything.
And that was specific to outdoor storage.
Yeah.
So I'll defer to the board as to what they want to do here with lighting. Keep them on till 10, I would probably suggest,
So
Yeah, and then
right?
off it.
Yes. But so you could actually just,
reiterate the hours.
well, the,
10 PM, exterior lights shall be extinguished or turned off or
Mhm.
something.
Well, lighting shall only
Right.
be
from-
from 6 AM to 10 PM. Right? The contractor's yard has to follow the lights of the, the parking and illumination code that says from 10 PM to
Mhm.
6 AM lights are
Yeah.
off. Right? So we could just clearly say, hours of lights shall only be utilized at
During
exterior lights from
business hours.
10 PM to 6 AM or during the business hours, right? Which are described below.
But clearly for that, for the contractor's yard building.
That's
I
what
was gonna say
think-
specify that.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
specific.
Mhm.
Okay, so, we're gonna strike that motion sensor and we're gonna say,
Exterior lighting for the contractor's yard building shall be I don't know, illuminated 6A to 10P or
let me see.
extinguished 10P to 559A, one or the other.
Yeah, so,
Shall be illuminated not past 10 PM.
shall not be illuminated past 10 PM.
Sure.
Right, shall not be illuminated after 10 PM and no sooner than 6 AM. Because if it's dark in the winter, you're gonna need them on
Yep.
in the morning.
That works.
So shall not be illuminated between the hours of 10 and 6, right? We'll just say exterior lighting for the contractor's yard building shall not be illuminated between the hours of 10 PM and 6 AM.
Yeah.
That works. That's fine.
Okay, shall not be illuminated between the hours of 10 PM to 6 AM. Okay.
That was it for me. I do have one change on the lid, but we'll get there.
Okay, and I'd have a change myself here. So under, on page 2, number 7, it says other materials received with the application during the project review. If you go down to the 1, 2, 3, fourth to last bullet item, it says cover letters. So it's the fourth bullet from the bottom. Cover letters, responses to peer review comments, letters. It should be by Attorney George Banan, Esquire, Ferris Development Group, dated. So it wasn't expedited engineering. Your cover letters came from you.
Yes.
So I wanted to correct that. And then also I missed submission 7. So after the 04/21/25, I'm going to add June 12th, 2025, the date right in there. So it'll just read comment letters by Attorney George Bernard, Esquire, Ferris Development Group, dated blah, 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 4/21/25, 6/12/25, and 6/30/25 would be the last 3.
Okay.
And then caught that this morning. So the changes to the findings and the conditions will be the same in the lid, right? And to this, the documents submitted, that one I just read.
Okay.
And
So we good with
master.
major site plan? Okay. Any changes or comments on lid, Ms. Houlihan?
No.
Mr. Maria?
No comments.
Ms. Braccio?
No comments.
And I also do not have any comments.
I did have one, and it's a very small change. On page 8 of 9, paragraph 21 starts with the word "this," and it should be "the major site plan."
Yes.
And then paragraph 22 starts with the word "the." It should be "this special permit."
Yeah, what I'm gonna start doing is just saying the.
Just the.
I'm using them all. So I think if we just say the,
That
and then we won't have to change them in the future.
Mhm.
So I think I did that on the other one. Right.
No further.
Is that it?
That's it.
Wow.
And I'll do that on the major site plan. I'm gonna change this to the, so it's consistent. They both say the.
Please do.
And we need the waivers for the lid. So here they are. Do you
So,
have a copy?
Before we vote, any comments from anyone in the audience? Anyone online?
Two attendees, no comments, right? You have?
Okay, so we can vote on the waivers?
First, I make a motion to approve the waiver from the rules and regulations for lower impact development special permit, section 3.11, water balance calculation, a yearly hydrologic budget or water balance calculation. A pre and post development conditions on the site must be provided.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, Latrell, yes?
Houlihan, yes.
Demiria, yes.
Russia, yes.
I make a motion to approve the waiver from the rules and regulations for lower impact development lid special permit, section 3.12, hydrogeologic assessment for pre and post development conditions, including a seasonal profile of groundwater elevation, the velocity and the direction of ground and surface water flow.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, Latrell, yes?
Houlihan, yes.
Demiria, yes.
Russia, yes.
So George, when you update that plan sheet,
Mhm.
just don't change anything else.
I won't.
Because
Just the
I'll have
parking
to, I have to
calculation.
look at it all again. You know,
Done.
I have to make sure, and I would just leave the dates the way you have them,
Okay,
and I'll recognize that that was a change and look there.
excellent.
All right, so you only have to change that one sheet
Mm-hmm.
and provide me with two sets of, for signing
2 full-size sets,
Yeah.
correct?
Mhm.
Got it.
to scale.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I make a motion to approve the special permit for lower impact development for 250 Turnpike Road Contractors Yard Building, subject to the changes discussed this evening and amended to the draft dated July 9th. Does that work?
You motion to approve the,
The special permit approval for the lower impact development.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, Latrell, yes?
Houlihan, yes.
Demiria, yes.
Russia, yes.
I make a motion to approve the major site plan for 250 Turnpike Road Contractors Yard Building, subject to the changes made this evening to the July 9th, 2025 draft.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, Latrell, yes?
Houlihan, yes.
Demiria, yes.
Russia, yes.
Now we need to close the hearings.
Yep, just close. I make a motion to close the public hearing for 250 Turnpike Road.
Second.
Sorry, major site plan approval and, and a special permit for lower impact development.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, Latrell, yes?
Houlihan, yes.
Demiria, yes.
Russia, yes.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for everyone's hard work. I will see you next month.
Thanks, George.
Take care. Have a good night.
Yeah, you got to get another project so you continue to be here every hearing.
okay. Approved.
The next item on the agenda is 26 Meadow Lane, Reservoir Meadows, major site plan approval, special permit, lower impact development, and special permit, major residential development. This, we received submission number 6 on July 2nd, which answered concerns from the June 23rd meeting, and we will be reviewing the decisions and voting. Anything you want to add, Karina?
So I I would just like to point out to the planning board and to the applicant's team. So I drafted, there are actually 3 permits here. There's the major site plan approval, there's the special permit for lid, and then there's the special permit for major residential development, flexible development. So on Friday, I was able to mostly complete the major site plan decision. The materials provided and comment review letters and that list of documents during the public hearing still needs to be updated. That's why it's highlighted and stricken. I'll be doing that over the next 2 days. I'll also want to point out that the conditions, the findings and the conditions are going to be the same in all 3 permits. It's just some boilerplate things that have to change for each permit, so that's clear. One of the things that, one of the conditions that I didn't have a chance to enter in here that I intended to was that an A&R or some plan of land has to be provided to just clarify the existing conditions plan that showed the lot owned by, is it 39 Pine?
Falmouth LLC.
Falmouth LLC that has the septic system on it is not really merged yet with the larger lot. There was an A&R in 2022 that showed that lot separate, but still had that little triangular piece way to the left, okay? That was recorded. There was a following A&R last December that was intended to merge that septic system lot into the larger lot, but also cut off that triangle piece, which would have left you short on the open space. So that was not recorded, so that's kind of nullified. So in order to remedy the plan, one of the conditions will be that they have to provide a plan of land, whether it's, and Peter can speak to, whether it's an A&R or 81X, which allows you to remove lot lines internally. I'm not super familiar with it, but that'll have to be determined what avenue, and that condition will be added. It's a simple 2-line condition. Okay, and then, let's make sure. And I know, Mimi, you had some comments on the open space covenant when we get to that. Okay, so any changes that we talk about on this decision will get carried over onto the other 2. Yeah.
Welcome.
Good evening.
Mhm.
So 81X is the approach we would like to take because you don't meet until August 18th. So to do an A&R just doesn't make sense. And we don't need it because we need all of the land in one entity anyways. So we'll just take care of that. You'll have it in advance of your next meeting because it'll be done by then. We want to get your decision recorded so that condition exists, and then we will fulfill the condition. So the sooner we can get the decision put together, wrapped up and recorded with the clerk's office, 21-day appeal period can start, and then we can be ready for a closing. And we will get all of the lots under one ownership, which is what it needs to be.
Very good.
Okay. So I'm happy with Karina's decision, the way she drafted it. We did put together a declaration of restrictive covenant for you. I know I did it myself, so I checked it 3 times. So if anybody's going to have a problem with it and you find it, the buck stops with me. So I think you'll find that that's set. And then the plans, I believe, are set. So happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. So again, discussion of any plans or comments, and then we'll go through the decision. Ms. Houlihan.
No, I thought, so the declaration of restrictive covenants, I know you have comments on it. Overall, I think we needed to see that. I think that was a big component of what we needed to do to proceed. So I felt pretty comfortable. I know Karina is very capable and will get everything done. But generally, I know this was a timeline that didn't necessarily, you wanted it a little bit faster, but I think at the end of the day, I think we're all in a good place. We feel good as a planning board. I think we worked well together. I think you worked well with the neighbors, and I just want to say thank you for repeatedly coming back and making the changes and addressing the concerns that we had. I think it all overall was a very collaborative process. So thank you.
Mr. Murray.
Well said. I don't have any comments for you. I just want to say thank you for your active participation, also working with us. Thank you.
Ms. Brashio.
Same. I second what everybody said. It's great to get this done and see some housing move forward. I did have one question, and I don't know, Mimi, and I'm gonna refer to you on this for your expertise.
Oh, boy.
So, one of the comments I had, and I didn't know if it was a condition of the decision or whether it should be in this open space covenant, was it's important to me that there is no removal of the trees at the edge of the meadow. Where would you suggest the best place for that to be? If it's in the decision, then I'll be quiet until the decision.
So I did, in one of my comments on the covenant, I have no trees greater than 3-inch caliper shall be cut or removed for the, in the meadow,
Okay,
if that.
that's
sure.
fine. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
You didn't get these comments yet.
That's
I
fine.
have got 'em this
You
morning.
actually sent me I guess I should introduce myself. My name is Bill Poutre and I'm the applicant. You had sent me the same draft conditions on Friday that you sent to Peter. So that is what I have seen to
Yeah,
this point.
but Mimi's gonna do her, I was just saying that I didn't send you Mimi's comments on the declaration this week.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine.
So Mimi, can I just ask, the document that's in the Dropbox, those highlighted were your comments?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I didn't know that. Thank you.
So do we want to do covenant or covenant?
It's probably the best place to start,
Okay.
especially where you want to insert that, because I have no problem with it. I think that's exactly what we want to do. It's just where do you want to put it?
Do you want to share my,
It is, it's up in the Dropbox, I'll show you. Hold on. We can find it right away. Hang on, let me just get up there. 26 Meadow. See, right under the main folder, we copied it over to Mimi Luttrell edit. So if you go to, click right on the. Oh, thank you. Okay. There. Oh, that's not. You have to share. Yeah.
Feels like a Friday, doesn't it?
It's like Monday.
so just the first thing I had, and I don't know if that's applicable, if the parcels are going to be combined. You had map 56, parcel 14, and I put and 27 because that was that other one. But I guess if there's a, up here. So
Mhm.
map 56, parcel 27 is that septic lot. So if they're going to be combined and if that's a condition that you're going to do a 81X,
No,
then
I agree with you.
guess,
That should be there.
should it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree with you, yeah.
And then in the next paragraph, although the wetlands and some of the condominium common space couldn't count for the minimum required open space, it's still all part of the open space?
Yeah, I mean, that was protected in another manner, but sure, if you want to
Yeah.
write it up this way, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just added that,
Yep, I'm good with that too.
that common space, and I removed the street from it. So it's all the purple on the plans,
Okay.
except for that 11,000 whatever, which is the private
Mhm.
road.
That makes sense.
So then if there's any comments or anybody is not in agreement, just yell at me. Number 1, the natural open space, I added the wetlands into that.
Okay, yeah. You were consistent.
And then at the, and then, under the grass meadow, with the exception, I put mowing once per year after August 1st to maintain the meadow.
Mhm.
However, no trees greater than 3-inch caliber shall be cut or removed. In addition, the land designated as condominium common space exclusive of wetlands and private road consisting of 28,940 may be maintained to provide access by foot or machinery necessary maintenance for the joint septic system. Because that's where that mowing was and those little purple things, right?
Makes sense.
Mhm.
Can I ask a question on that, Mimi?
Sure.
So what if one of the trees 3 inches or larger dies? I mean, I'm assuming sometime over the next century, some of them may die. This, and correct me if I'm wrong, this gives them no option to cut or remove it. What would be the remedy to be for that? Would they have to come back to planning board, or can we add some language in there? I mean, storms come, trees fall, a tree breaks in half. I'm assuming that the condo association would want the ability to take it down.
Well, I'm interpreting this as a live tree versus one that's been damaged through storm event or whatnot. But if you want to be more explicit with it, that would certainly make it easier to manage, because there's no reason to go into the woodland and do anything in a natural forest. You wouldn't be doing that either, per se. If
Right.
there became a fire hazard or something because of some of these trees dying, you know, in some manner, then that would be a greater concern. So I think you just put something about, you know, we're not intending to cut any live trees, that's for sure. A deceased tree or a diseased tree.
So I think you and I understand this today, but
Yeah.
5 years from now,
No,
someone
I'm
who's
with
sitting here may not, Peter, and
I'm with you.
it might create a huge issue
So
potentially.
just something like however dead or storm damaged trees may be cut or removed or something to that effect.
That's fine.
How about however, no live trees greater than shall be cut or removed, barring any emergency or natural disaster, which shall be remedied, you know, I guess by what? Which, by,
I don't know.
I don't mean to make this tougher, but I worry that somewhere down the road, somebody
yeah,
could
yeah.
look at this and interpret it that nothing can be done. And I would hate,
And I think that we have run into that with open space
We have.
language in the past.
we have,
Yeah, I mean, if you want to put it through your planning office, that seems like probably the only avenue that would be available without it coming before the board again. So it's, yeah.
yeah,
So
No.
I don't think we want that.
the area that they're considering the protection of, no, this is the outside areas, but they could still be in a buffer zone no matter what anyway. So it may trip something else, but the areas that are outside, I think you should just have the intent. So the intent is not to cut any live trees for sure. I mean, I get that. We can say that.
Right.
But then having some maintenance mechanism in the event of a natural disaster of some sort. I'm not even thinking that big. I'm thinking just something minor. You know, some woody adelgid, like it affected the hemlocks, and then all these hemlocks were standing dead for the longest time, and they became a fire hazard.
Right.
so what about if
So-
we just add no live trees? like
Yeah,
you
I think
said,
the
Amy? I
live
think it's simple, it's clean, and
Yeah.
I don't think it leaves a lot of speculation.
Well, it gives someone the understanding that if you are cutting a few
No
trees
live-
that are,
right.
diseased or dead, you're not doing anything nefarious, that's for sure.
Okay, that's
Hmm.
easy.
So just the one word, however, no live trees greater.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, my only question was number 4, rights of enforcement. The terms of covenants and restrictions set forth in this declaration shall be enforceable solely by the town of Southborough, Massachusetts, the town acting by and through the planning board. Do we enforce? Yeah, I didn't think so. So it would be the building commissioner.
Okay.
Let me just read it, the term and restrictions set.
So through the building commissioner, that's, I'd change planning board to building commissioner.
I think the other project got approved this way, though. That's all right. Just to let you know.
We're smarter now.
Yes, no, it's good. It's good. It's good. Yeah, right.
And that's all I have. Anybody else have anything else on the covenant? Okay. Do you want this just emailed to you?
Yes, that's going to make it easier, because I'm going to just email it back to Karina finished. So
What the,
I don't want to burden you with having to make the revisions. Just send me Mimi's comments and then I'll send it back to you completed.
well, I have to check it then.
I know that.
So if I do it, I know it's in there because I'm not changing anything else. If I send it to you and send it back, I'll have to do like a,
All right, that's fine.
Oh,
And-
okay,
and
so-
Then I'll send you
so-
my Word.
Less
I'll
work
s-
for everybody.
I'll send you my Word doc and then you're just going to send me everything. I got to check you anyway, so.
we'll work it out. I'll tell
Yeah,
you.
yeah, okay.
Okay.
Very
I'll
good.
send it to you if I feel like I don't have the time real, and then
I'm not sure I gave you the Word doc, though. I'm just saying, I'll send you the Word doc.
one of us will fix it.
Okay,
and
yep.
we'll-
All right, so on to,
We have the Word doc because it was edited in our Dropbox.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah,
even.
so we were,
oh,
we
All
were,
right, good.
right?
I think you.
Wasn't sure you used the
We
PDF
converted it
software and
to
converted it. Yeah, that's what that looks like a different text than mine that I
I
sent you.
think, Mimi, did you save it to a Word? You took the PDF and saved
I
it?
saved it to a Word,
Oh.
yeah, because I can't edit PDFs and my non-technical abilities.
Before you do it, just call me
Yeah.
and then I'll send you we'll talk about it.
Okay.
All right, but everyone's fine with those changes.
We
You're
both
fine.
think the same way about triple checking, so I'm not too worried about it.
Okay. All right, so, the decision, anybody have anything? Oh, well, we still need to add,
Page of history.
All the
yeah,
procedural stuff.
yeah. And documents,
The front page is usually the same on all, just except paragraph 2 changes what permit
Yeah.
the decision is. And then it references the other 2 permits. That just gets updated. The yellow stricken will be all the documents that I.
that we
so-
received, okay,
And then, yep. And then, the extensions are already updated
okay,
to that. So the findings and the decision conditions.
okay.
There were no waivers requested for.
For any of them, because we had to do everything.
You did.
Yep.
Thank you.
Right.
So my only suggestions were, and I wasn't sure if it would be in part of documents received or findings, but I did think that email exchange that Mr. Poutre had with Dave Williams, where you kind of systematically went through the 4 items. It was dated June 19th. Either be part of our documents, but it helps to kind of document the 4 things that they agreed to with the neighborhood, which kind of is outside our scope for the most part, but it
If it was
stays
received,
procedurally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have as one of the, adding a condition file superseding easement for the homeowners association, memorializing agreements per 6/19/25 email from Mr. Poutre that we received from Mr. Poutre.
As a supplemental condition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that references that that document.
Yes.
Lonnie's talking about.
Yeah.
So we'll make sure that's in that list. And then I'll add your.
Do we
comment
wanna-
once we get there.
Can I ask that that would be a prior to construction or prior to, I'm just trying to figure out the timing if I have a high desire to be timely, but in case that it gets taken a little bit longer by other parties, I'd like to say prior to construction if we could.
For which condition?
Yeah, well, so it's just open right now before you get your occupancy permit right now.
Right,
But,
right.
but if you want it to say prior to construction, that's fine.
Or prior occupancy or whatever the case might be, just not prior to.
Occupancy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So is that the condition you just read?
Yeah.
If you just reiterate, then I can write it on here.
Read it again.
Yeah, which condition was it? Because I know we have to add the document, the email document to the list.
So add the email document,
Yeah.
and then this was an additional condition.
Oh, added condition, okay. Put that on here. Somewhere, add condition.
File superseding easement for, is it Carriage Hill Homeowners Association?
Get so confused. Deal with so many, I think, I believe that's
It
the
is.
It's on the-
entity.
Email here.
The easement itself, what it's called on the plan?
The Carriage Hill Homeowners Association.
Yeah, Carriage Hill Homeowners Association memorializing agreements per 6/19/25 email from Mr. Poutre
Okay, say it one more time. File superseding easement.
for Carriage Hill Homeowners Association.
Mm-hmm.
Memorializing agreements per 6/19/25 email from Mr. Poutre.
For 6/25.
6/19/25.
6/19/25. Email from William Pucci. Okay.
I also believe there was a plan, that Peter had, shown everybody. If we can reference that plan that was put up that night, which articulated what what was agreed to. Do you follow me? So there was
It's
a,
included in the plan set, that color plan. sheet
We
is
pulled it in.
No.
okay, so as long as,
Okay,
And every,
yeah.
I just feel like
stated with the right numbers, the square
Yeah,
footages and all that.
that, yeah,
I think
just,
Peter kept that in the
Right,
plan.
I use general language because I tried to reach out to Mr. Williams, but he didn't call me back. I was trying to be very explicit and he didn't, I gave him the opportunity, but he didn't get back to me. So I kept it general. So the intent is there.
Well,
Everything is-
yeah, so we have the exhibit, then we have the email, then we
That-
have
that-
this.
And you have it in
So I
the
think
plans,
Perfect.
yeah.
that
We-
should-
we
I was
went
just
full-
asking that
full
exhibit
circle.
be included for
Yeah.
that specific reason.
I
Okay.
told Bill I wasn't going to take any chances that if for some reason someone else is involved, it
So
was
think
all
That
understood.
colored plan exhibit that was when you were, you're talking about when we were deciphering the 6-lot subdivision.
No,
That
there was
the
a,
same Meeting.
there was a, I believe, an easement plan that Peter had put together, an exhibit.
Open
It was
space.
labeled draft
It was, yes.
Yes,
and it had the
yes,
purple
I
and the
have it.
yellow.
You submitted that as a supplemental
Mhm.
document to me.
Yeah.
I have that in my pile. It will be in this list.
But
Okay.
it's now in the official plans. It's exhibit.
Yes, you're saying that's the same thing.
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Are you saying that's more generic?
No, the
No.
generic part was regarding the HOA
Yeah.
and the agreements that Mr. Boutre made with them.
Okay.
That is also on the plan set. Not only, because I was concerned you weren't going to reference it. So we wanted to make sure it was in the docs. So
'Cause
we're-
in the conditions, I just want to make sure there's supposed to be a flexible development plan that gets recorded with the flexible development decision with the MRD. And if that's included in that set, then that
The-
half-size set will be included on each decision.
Correct. The
Everything
plan
needs to be in
set,
that.
correct, but these
Yep.
plans are gonna go in as an instrument to a decision.
Correct.
Because again, that colored plan, it's not reproducible at the registry. So this set will be your official set on file with your town
Yeah.
clerk in your office.
Mhm.
And the main instrument will be the declaration of covenant, your decision, and the 81X plan that we're gonna do. That's the project document.
Right, but with the decision, right? Instead of, we usually have the letter size set of plans attached as an exhibit for reference, so the
Yeah.
people know they have to come back here and look.
Right, they will be.
And the subdivision plan itself, or the flexible development plan, I think that has to be recorded as I'm just telling you, that's in the conditions, if you didn't catch that. That's why I'm pointing that out, that one of those things that I wrote in here is that it says, I just want, because all these conditions are gonna be the same. It says here, tell you with
I didn't read it that way.
number 9.
You are going to record it, but it's not going to be a separate instrument.
Based on the submitted commercial plan data, includes. Okay, reference here, okay, hold on. Number 15, the special permit for flexible development and flexible development plan of land shall be recorded with written proof of recording provided to the planning board. I wrote with written
Oh,
proof
yeah.
again, within 7 days after the appeal lapses. So that's the one I want to make sure you're in agreement with or not, because this is what I'm saying. It says the special permit and the flexible development plan of land.
Okay,
So
Okay.
I don't know, I want.
There is no plan of land that's going.
That's why I'm pointing this out.
But it is going to be recorded. These plans
With
will
those
be recorded with the decision, right?
As a half size, as a
As-
letter
as an
size
instrument
exhibit.
Attached to the decision.
Right, are you required to record, anything related to, like, when you have a subdivision, you record the subdivision plan of land. Do you have to record the flexible development plan, or is that sufficient for record to just attach it as an exhibit as part of the set?
Right, because the only, that's what I'm trying to say to you, is the only plan will be the X plan at this point, because. we
To
don't
be
have an A-
recorded
To be recorded.
separately from the set of plans that will be recorded as an
And
exhibit.
that's a condition that you're going to be adding. to
Yes.
this. Correct. That's the one piece that will go forward, is a separate recordable document. Otherwise, all these documents will be small exhibits, they'll have the planning board endorsement on it. The
With
full
the-
size will be with your office, with the clerk's office,
Okay,
but there's no way to reproduce that colored drawing at the
Right.
registry of deeds. No
well,
way.
that's why I'm pointing that out, because that condition would then be incorrect. So the decision will be recorded with the half size.
With the half
With this letter size set. Okay, all right, sorry, I just wanted to
Okay.
get that clear.
That's good, because I'm super confused now.
Yeah, so this isn't a subdivision, so that's why, you don't get that extra dock, right? You don't get a separate plan.
So
It's just-
typically, lid plans are required to be recorded. But what we've been doing now is, because it's very expensive and we keep a set here, we let them attach a letter size set of plans to each of the decisions, and usually it's just one. But in this case, because it's 3 permits, it's just part of the decision. All 3 will have that set of plans exhibit. That's what I was pointing out.
Got it.
And my language had written like a subdivision. The subdivision plan gets recorded with the Mylar. And I thought a flexible development plan would get recorded on a Mylar full size. But in this case, the plan set will show it
With the decision,
as a small attachment. to
which
it.
is easier if you're looking it up too, because it's with the
Yeah.
decision. You don't have to go try and figure out.
So
what
we
the
removed
plan-
that 15 entirely?
No, we would just change it that
Amend it that it's
it'll be just like.
recorded with the
decision.
decision.
Yeah,
separate.
it'd be just like number 20, 16 and 17. It'll say the
Oh.
same thing. Instead of flexible development plan, it's going to say the decision with a plan, with the approved plan set attached as
Okay.
an exhibit.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
Any other condition comments?
Yeah, I do. So I had the same that I had for the prior, and again, it's like we as the planning board to try and amend. So it would be number 4, that the existing drainage and stormwater management system shall be cleaned and maintained annually, as whatever our wordage was for 250.
Same as 250.
Same as 250, which was basically putting in a timestamp to say at least it should be cleaned annually unless that conflicts with Conservation Commission suggestions.
Yeah,
or
the SMP
recommendations.
says the same thing, and I have to be honest with you, some of these HOAs that we have, we've actually gone to a 2-year cycle because we've been going there and we're saying, there's no
Nothing's
sediment.
Clean. That's good.
So no, it's good, but you need to do the program to know. So, by providing the evidence, we've been able to do that, so it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, we just have encountered some challenges there. And then number 24, which is around oh, sorry, not 24. Hold on. This is the as-built.
As-built, right.
Sorry, but before I go to 24, sorry, 18. It was really just, again, bolding, a pre-construction meeting with the planning board shall be held prior, so making prior bolded and all caps. Again, it's just my subtle nod to please come to the planning board.
it's good-
Mr.
good
Bemis, you're
point.
on a
No,
benefit there.
it wasn't so much, it was my client, but yes, agreed.
And then to bold that at least 14 days before the start of construction, the applicant should provide written notice to the planning board on number 18. And then on 24, it was to add, and I'll take Attorney Banan's suggestion is within 8 weeks after construction is completed, if that's feasible, that the as-bills get submitted. If that's doable.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then the only other comment I had was 15 because it was a duplication of with written proof of recording, but that's
Yeah.
being changed entirely anyway. Okay, that's all I had.
Mr. Maria,
I have no further comments. Thank you.
Ms. Brashio.
I have no further comments.
And I just have the other easement. The file a superseding easement for 30 Meadow. Reducing the paved width easement to 12 feet as shown on plans.
Right, that's the agreement you have with your neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
That's a condition. You-
Yeah.
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 that's fine.
Green didn't have that one?
Just tell me when that one is. Add condition. Okay, tell me when.
File superseding easement for 30 Meadow.
Easement for 30 Meadow Lane.
Reducing paved width of easement to 12 feet as shown on plans.
To 12 feet as shown on plans.
Mr. Chow, I think that the reason why we didn't do that is the current easement as written does not mandate or state that paving has to exist. It's just a right of way. So it doesn't, it specifically, it does not specifically call out for pavement.
Oh, okay.
So it's not, it's like the easement doesn't, the existing easement does not call out for any pavement from,
So just reducing the width of the easement?
I think it's just reducing the width of the.
Yeah, so take out paved.
Reducing the width of the easement. Okay,
Thank you.
Good. Anything else?
we have that one condition for the 81X we have to put in here.
Yes.
So that should read, hold on. So it'll be an additional condition that says a plan of land shall be prepared and recorded,
Prepared and recorded, right?
prepared and recorded with written proof to the planning.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Okay,
We'll
wait.
provide you with a copy of that plan.
Written proof to planning board, that merges plan of land. Shall I put parentheses 81X?
You can do that.
So a plan of land 81X, and I'll reference MGL 81, blah, 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 right? MGL 81X, shall be prepared and recorded with written proof to the planning board that merges, the 39 Pine Falmouth parcel.
Pine Falmouth LLC, yes.
Just name the parcels or?
Yeah, I was gonna say the assessor's map, just the way it was in the, in Amy's original,
Mm.
14 and 27.
correct,
Parcels 14 and
27.
27. Okay. Shall merge assessors, those two parcels, the big one and the 39. Okay. Oh, I still need my first one. You want another amend? Okay, and that's good. Merger plan required for the project. I'm just gonna add that one, required for the project. Is it required for the project?
It is. It needs to be one lot.
Okay, for the project, okay. Okay, and I think, you're aware of the open space bound markers, right? The bounds,
So what you wrote, yeah?
so you're not caught off guard. And, I think that, just want to check one last thing. The condo docs are supposed to be, before the first occupancy permit, right? Shall be, reviewed by town council and accepted prior to the first occupancy, because you can't.
You
get
can't
an
legally prepare the condo documents until one of the structures has been completed, or I think I think it might say
It's phasing in.
something to the effect of mostly completed, or there's some adjective
yeah.
that precedes that.
And I have one last question. Is there anything in reviewing this decision that you feel is missing? Or conditions or findings? Anything that you can think of that really should clarify or be part of your responsibility?
No, I think we've done that just by, my only question was just that, that exhibit that we talked about in that last meeting. But other than that, I
Could
appreciate,
be included.
yeah,
in
you've
the
been very
doc.
clear and I appreciate all your help.
All right, I just want to make sure, so,
Mhm.
because I did it pretty fast. Okay, okay. That's all I have.
Good. So anyone in the room have any questions or comments?
Let's see.
Anyone on Zoom? If you have any questions or comments, raise your hand.
2 attendees, no hands raised. Okay.
Okay, away we go.
All right. So I make a motion to approve the decision for major site plan approval for 26 Meadow Lane, parens 24 to 28 Meadow Lane, Reservoir Meadows, a flexible development. With the, oh my God, it's late.
Changes.
With the changes discussed to be modified to the July 10th, 2025 draft.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, Latrell, yes?
Houlihan, yes?
Demiria, yes.
Russia, yes.
I make a motion to approve the decision for special permit lower impact development for 26 Meadow Lane, parens 24-28 Meadow Lane, Reservoir Meadows, a flexible development with the changes discussed this evening for the July 10th, 2025 draft.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, Latrell, yes?
Houlihan, yes?
Demiria, yes.
Russia, yes.
I make a motion for approval of the decision of special permit, major residential development / flexible development for 26 Meadow Lane, parens 24-28 Meadow Lane, Reservoir Meadows, a flexible development. We did not have a draft for that one.
We didn't only had one draft, so it's essentially the same draft.
For the draft, with the changes discussed, applied to the draft of July 10th, 2025.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, Latrell, yes?
Houlihan, yes?
Demiria, yes.
Russia, yes.
I make a motion to close the public hearings for 26 Meadow Lane, Reservoir Meadows for major site plan approval, special permit lower impact development, special permit major residential development / flexible development.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, Latrell, yes?
Houlihan, yes?
Demiria, yes.
Russia, yes.
Hallelujah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. To reiterate what others were saying, I know Karina's had a tough couple weeks.
Oh, thank you.
So
I'm getting through.
Or a year, yeah. And the couple weeks have been made a lot more difficult, so thank you for calling that out. She's
Yeah.
great.
Thank you.
appreciate
One
it.
step at a time. Just keep praying for my sister. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Good night.
What are you gonna do with all this free time on your Monday nights?
I was thinking that it was going on long, but you were all afraid of missing us, so. I think that's the, as I told Colleen, I think that we're your favorite customers, so. Fair enough.
Peter,
Was, anybody could do this. It was
there were no,
a lot of work.
no changes to the plans, right? That was, so I'll make sure if I don't have, I gotta make sure I have 2 copies. That's all. I'll check tomorrow. I think you gave it.
Worth it in the end.
Yeah.
It worked.
And no waivers, right? That's-
Yes.
That's pretty good.
Thank you. Before Peter leaves,
We have
do
2
we,
weeks.
is he sign? Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you for your well wishes.
I guess you can leave then.
What's that? Oh, before you run away, Peter.
I appreciate your.
Your principal's office.
The next item on the agenda is a public hearing, 2 East Main, multifamily building, major site plan approval. So where are you? Do you want to withdraw and come back when you're ready?
No, I got Board of Health approval, so
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get things put together so I can come back. There was just a lot of i's to dot and t's to cross, so I just couldn't be ready for you for this meeting, so you.
So the 18th?
Yeah, I think that should be fine. That'd be my goal.
What's the confidence level?
Higher than the July 14th meeting.
Well, so the
I
reason,
kind of knew that I wouldn't be able to be ready. I mean, we just had the Board of Health meeting.
yeah,
So in timing wise, I could never have gotten everything to Karina that needed to be there.
okay. So just the reason I mention that is that this is the 10th hearing, and there've been 7 that we had no information for.
Correct, because sometimes the goalposts were moving, as you know, during that process, and things changed abruptly for me because I had to change the project.
Right.
So we've done that and we're trying to address it. There may be other hurdles I have to figure out.
So maybe worst case, September 8th, the following meeting. Is that, you know what I mean? I think
Yeah, I want
realistically.
to get this done because I've invested a great deal of time and energy and dollars to get this hearing process together. And again, some of it wasn't my fault at all.
Right, I'm not
All right, but
casting
I don't-
dispersions. It's
I don't
just,
see it
it's
likely.
difficult. It's difficult for the planning board to plan an agenda when there are a lot of
I understand. I've been
hearings that
trying to do
keep.
it very quickly with Karina to say, look, there's just no way I'll be ready for that meeting. And I did tell him up front, and I got my document extension in.
Okay.
In advance of the meeting.
Yep. So so should we continue to the 18th or till
Please
September?
do, but I'll definitely give you notice because I have to get everything to Karina.
Well, the question is this. So continue to the next meeting, but extend the action deadline to 4 days after September 8th, which is the meeting. So September 8th would be then to September 12th. That gives you a little more.
Sure.
So this would change to September.
Let's put this, I'm not in a rush to get a decision from you. I want to try to be ready this calendar year, though.
Okay. Because you have to make a submittal.
I have to get the submittal.
Has to go to Fuss and O'Neill.
Architectural. I think it's the Fuss and O'Neill, we've addressed all the issues at this.
Maybe, I have to look back.
It's just really, it's architecturals at this point, it's different than, because again, I got Board of Health approval.
Yeah.
And you do need architecturals.
There are some site plan changes, but what we were able to do with Board of Health was move things further away. That was one of the benefits by going to this other system that we were using. So we were able to achieve some better goals.
So we won't know till you submit a submittal, what level of review it might need depending on the changes.
Yeah, my
And then,
hope is it very little from
yeah,
outside
that's the
consultants.
goal.
Yeah.
But we just want to keep the door open that if it is something we feel that needs to be reviewed, it would go back to Fuss and O'Neill, and they could do it very quickly if it's not thing major,
Right.
right? So I just don't want to.
Oh, yeah.
Just, neither of us have had a lot of experience with that downtown bylaw. I'm kind of the
Oh,
first one
no,
to go through and
you are.
finding out all of the pratfalls. And so it's been difficult, unfortunately.
So do we want to change this to September 12th?
Right.
To extend the deadline?
Fine with that.
Continue the meeting.
Want to do another one, I'll sign it. Or
We
are
can
we
just
gonna amend
write
that
that.
one?
We can
Sure.
just write.
Can we write that and
Yeah, I'm in
can
agreement.
you initial it?
Yeah, I'll do that.
This will be September.
Does that mean we're not back? No.
No.
Still
Oh,
back in August.
So 8 and 4 is,
Just gives us our decision date a little bit more.
that's Monday, so 9, 8, 9, and 11, it's 12th, September 12th. That's all. It just extends it to one more meeting after that. You got a pen? Pass those candies. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you, Peter.
Good night.
I make a motion to continue the public hearing for 2 East Main Street for both major site plan approval and special permit downtown district.
And I second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, Latrell, yes?
Houlihan, yes.
Demiria, yes.
Brascio, yes.
I make a motion to extend the decision due date for 2 East Main Street major site plan approval special permit downtown district to September 12th, 2025.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, Latrell, yes?
Houlihan, yes.
Demiria, yes.
Brascio, yes.
And that's to 7:10. We'll keep it at the same time.
Oh.
That's okay.
Yes.
Sorry. I heard you say it between the line. Okay. This,
All right, so hearings are done. Do we want to go back to any discussion of bylaws?
Mimi, just have to sign this.
Oh, sure.
Okay, that's okay. That would be helpful.
So where we left it, there was some major, very minor changes on the ADU bylaw that I was gonna take on, but I lost my notes, so I'm gonna have to regroup with Mimi. It was like very minor language. I just couldn't find my notes. On the industrial park district uses, so I put a bylaw together. Alan and I kind of knocked it back and forth. Alan, made some good suggestions and simplified, kind of did a comparison with the original to really see what language was removed. All of that is in the draft Dropbox box, so if people want to look at that. I did have a conversation with Don Morris because a question was raised in the original industrial park district. We've had a 50,000 square foot threshold. And so he said back in the day, and he mentioned that he spoke to you, Colleen, and you could probably go back and look at the minutes. His theory was that the developers basically said, we can't do anything for 50,000 square feet. So basically everything's going to have to go as a special permit or a requirement versus a by right use. And so most of the office buildings at the time were 60,000 square feet or over. And so, from the planning board's perspective at the time, it was like, okay, so then you still have to come and put a special permit in. So his suggestion was that most of the feedback was around the town. The town didn't want anything egregious put in there without having go through kind of an extra level of diligence. And so he said the 50,000 square feet could been, just a number that the planning board came up with. And looking at other towns, we've noticed 75,000 square foot as a threshold, so potentially raising the threshold. But maybe thinking about, as you read the draft and maybe come back for August 18th with feedback, is consideration of what it would be a by right use for underneath the 75,000 square feet and then above and beyond. So those are kind of the two things that are, facing you guys as you read that. And the second component was we wanted to include just broader uses, modernize the language, just bring it more up to speed with 2025 versus 1700s. And so we were contemplating, and Marguerite Landry had, and the committee had come forward to me specifically around data centers. And so in just doing some diligence on data centers, the team here and Mimi forwarded that data centers are huge resource requirements, particularly around water and electrical. And so my husband used to be at EMC, and he had said that, you know, very few data centers would come because the Northeast electrical rates are really high. So they tend to like to go in the South. But if they did come in, electrical and water would be a huge consumption. And so for us to really consider too, if we wanted to put a data center in, which is just basically a place for, I mean, if you think about like AI, with all of the increasing presence of AI and what kind of ecological resources are being consumed there, which are significant, just something to put in there. We did include the data centers in the draft.
Yeah, there's been on the Mass Planners listserv, there's been a lot of discussion about data centers. Evidently, there's been companies contacting towns and asking them if they allow data centers. So evidently, there's some interest in this area, even with our high utility bills.
I know as part of the wastewater study committee, of which I'm a member, the current discussion is what could we possibly do with treated effluent, which is water, and data centers often need a lot of water. So any place along Route 9 that might be suitable for a data center, which is also what we're trying to promote, economical development or such along Route 9. So something to keep in mind. Does not solve the high electrical rate and high electricity consumption, but just something to keep in mind as you all read through this.
Way better than the golf course.
And then the only other thing was, I know it was a prior discussion and we'll be hearing more about it tomorrow, is the Atlantic Management Company had also proposed language around the industrial park district for another use, large retailer use, combined retailer use that we'll have to think about. And if that is the case, I would think that we would want to, I don't know if we would want to merge them, but I think we need to think about those two bylaws in parallel. Either we promote one, both, or only one.
The, excuse me, the proponent for what Atlantic Management Group will probably want that to stand alone because it's a project-based zoning change. They don't want to be tied to anything.
And so the planning board needs to make the decision
Yeah.
whether we bring it forward.
So the question is whether that use is here and they could just
Right.
utilize one of the uses here and wouldn't really need to have that specific zone. And, well, this is going off topic, but yeah. That's the question, whether we address that, because right now our uses don't cover that in that area. But if we cover the use, why not just
Include it.
include it? And it's already here, retail. Why do they need a special bylaw?
That's a good question for them.
Yeah. Anyone else on the board have any question or comment? Yes, sir.
I just wanted to comment a little bit on the data center question. Data center in the industry can mean lots of things, from very small things to the enormous AI things that are making the news at the moment. So if you use the term, it's going to be really important that you define it and set some bounds around it. Because I think what you're talking about are the mega data centers that AI and stuff are doing. That's very different from, the small service bureau sort of thing, or even the data center that someone would put in an office building. So I think you need to be really clear about what you're focusing on in that sense. The other thing is, in terms of water consumption, most modern data centers will recycle water. So, I mean, there's an initial, chunk of water that's used to fill the cooling systems. And after that, it's in their interests as well as the environment's, not to consume it. Or it's more likely to consume large amounts of water in the modern technology space are things like semiconductor manufacturing. And even there, we recycle water to the maximum extent possible. So I think it's important to get your facts straight before you make assumptions about how this sort of thing works. For the record, I, for a number of years, worked for Intel, which makes semiconductors. I've been in the business of developing computers and occasionally running data centers. So I know a little bit about this stuff. I just don't want you to work, off of what you read in the press or sort of, the worst case disaster things that you hear about. And if you have, questions, I'm sure I'll answer what I can, and I'm sure you can find other experts as well.
Thank you.
Sure.
You're our favorite expert.
I tried for him.
Who's your guy?
We should reserve him a seat.
So, industrial park we'll discuss at the next. Is ADU ready with whatever the minor changes to forward to ZBA and see if they have any comments on it?
Put them on an
Okay,
I just need to talk to you to just make sure I captured your feedback.
yeah, I don't
But
remember
then-
what it was. That was a month ago.
I know, but
I'll have to
I
look
think
and see what
ultimately
happened.
it was very straightforward administrative language.
Yeah, so is the board okay with that if Marnie and I get together and go through and then send it to the ZBA for comment?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And then industrial park will continue on. And then the next two, environmental controls and scenic bylaw and tree handbook. Debbie, you wanted to ask the board if they had any interest in pursuing those?
Yes, so this would not be for a special town meeting. This is a more like a future project. I have an interest to add some language or look at our language, let's say on site plan, to be able to add in something on environmental. So for example, so that our conditions would require certain number of EV charging stations or for example, bicycle racks or something like that. And I've been working with Colleen. Colleen's really been helping me out with looking at some other towns and that sort of thing. So I'd like to come back to the board. This is not something for, special town meeting, but just to see if there's interest from the board to kind of pursue something like that. Some of our neighboring towns are also doing more. We know Westboro, for example, they're bringing forward, by the way, in the 2026, they'll be bringing forward the DOER sustainability goal. We currently are a green community, and we use the Department of Energy stretch goals is what we follow. And some of our neighboring towns are also looking to do sustainability goals. That I know is a big leap for Southborough, but I think we can do more on the environmental side. So I just want to look and see, at a minimum, I'd like to be able to put something in site plan. So that's, what I'm looking at. But I think we can, as a green community and as a Tree City USA, I'm just looking to do more. And so it's nothing that I have ready for tonight, but just to see if the board will kind of allow me to keep poking around and I can come back in a future. We've always agreed on the trees, for example, that we would come up with something educational. Mr. Litt helped with the tree handbook, that version that is probably kicking around in the Dropbox. But depending on what the board wants to do, either bring the tree bylaw back or think about a scenic road bylaw. Instead, I think we still have enough to put together something in the future that is a handbook for people to find information. So it's nothing ready right now, but it's really something.
So a handbook we can just do. So the big questions are whether we have the appetite to come back with a new tree bylaw or scenic road bylaw.
And I'll just mention for scenic road bylaw, they're much simpler than tree bylaws. I've been noticing a lot of communities have scenic road bylaws, but just sets the jurisdiction as being under the planning board, talks about trees and public shade trees and stone walls. You don't even have to get into all this stuff that we got into with characterizing it. There's maybe a couple of sentences And many of them don't even list the roads, but what the scenic roads in town. But what I would like is kind of, I think that would be useful for people. But I also think that a corollary to that is that we need to get our roads consistent with what are the scenic roads in town. You know, that we have a list, but our list may not be an exact list with DPW's list. Am I correct about that? There's some.
Our
question-
list is DPW's list unless Bill changed it. It was from Karen Gallagher.
So there's a number of roads that have like question marks on them. I went through them with Karina, and I've also been through them with Timlit and DPW. And some of them that we have traditionally called scenic are, maybe they haven't been accepted or something like that. Some 11 roads in town. So yeah, that's just like its own little project. But I think as part of that whole thing, we should just, confirm what they are and make a list for people so they know if they live on that road, is it scenic or not? And I think it's like a basic that we might want to do.
Yeah, I think there were some roads that Karen couldn't find the town meeting at which they were accepted at. So there wasn't a date of acceptance, so they wouldn't have been accepted by 1978. So they're probably not scenic.
Yeah, Karina, I don't know if you want to mention it, but I think you have a list that you showed me, and I suppose what Mimi's saying is we just don't count those as scenic, but do the people on that road know that we don't consider it scenic? This is confusing, right? If you live on that road, you don't know. So I'm looking to not change anything per se, but just kind of clear it up and make it like,
So what I know,
people can consume.
what I know through various conversations and speaking with Bill Cundiff and Jim Haggerty a little bit, I believe this was last year, there's a handful of roadways that were accepted at town meeting. I think some were, but that they weren't recorded, which is required by town council to do at the time. So there was some, some discussion of how to remedy that. So I know, I know what you're saying. I can't remember the list, how many. There are some blanks in that DPW list. Not too many, but there were a few. So that's what I know about that. That's in the queue somewhere.
So I would think if they're accepted at town meeting, then they're scenic roads, because that's what the bylaw, the warrant article in 1978 said.
No, I agree. I just, I think there's an opportunity there. I don't want to give up on it. We're a Tree City USA community, so I think, there's an opportunity to, do more either with the environmental stuff and adding something to site plan. I still want to do a little bit more there to come up with something. I don't want to take away from the efforts that are going on right now because we have a lot going on for fall meeting. So it would be really coming back afterwards, I think. Yeah. What do you guys think?
I guess my take on this, and I know I'm the new guy, is if there's a road that's scenic, like as a human would describe it, not as like a text would describe it, let's make it scenic. I'm not for making every road in town scenic because I don't think every road in town is scenic.
No, I was
Yeah.
thinking to capture the roads that are currently scenic, so we have a common understanding, because there are some, especially those ones that Karina's mentioning, that they were never recorded.
Right. The people on that street might-
They, I think, were accepted at town meeting, so anybody living on those roads might think, okay, I live on a scenic road. But now we know some of them weren't recorded, so technically they're not scenic roads.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would not be bringing that back. I have I've drafted something in the past about what's this very, very simple scenic road bylaw looks like. And it doesn't, the intent is not to step on the toes of the tree warden or overstep the policy of the select board. It's its own little kind of, thing that really marks it's whatever's under the purview of the planning board per se.
So to me, it sounds like it's administrative clarification of what has been muddy in the past to make it clear for moving forward. That's my interpretation of what you're saying.
Yeah, that kind of goes with it, I think. What do you think, Lisa?
So I think I looked through, I'll be honest, I didn't get through the whole handbook.
Oh, no.
But I did what I looked at. I think is worthy of further discussion, Debbie. I think a lot of things are coming off our plate now, which I think is amazing. And I think it gives us a little bit of time to focus on the zoning things that we've been talking about, the industrial park and whatnot. So, I mean, I want to spend some time to delve a little bit more into it, what you submitted. And again, you put a ton of work in it and I appreciate it very much. I think we need to also, again, as we move forward as well, is kind of get the temperature of town meeting. Town meeting is just, it's fickle, and I think if we decide to go forward, and if we prepare it the right way, it's definitely doable. I know this stuff is important to us, but I think there's a large group of people in town that just think a tree is a tree and they could care less. So I think there's as you said, is an educational tool. I think if we do education prior to like bringing something to town meeting, and again, that's even a tough thing to do. People don't want to come to forums and people don't want to do stuff, but people do watch. And I think that there's an opportunity, to use Access Media to do just a 3-minute little educational clip. People will watch that. We've seen that happen time and time again. So I'm in favor of still continuing to move forward and explore these, Deb. I think you put a ton of work into it. And I think there is some great future discussion on this to find a way to do this. But I think education is the key. Thank you.
So that's trees sometime in the future. We'll continue discussing it. Environmental controls. I think so in my opinion, EV parking, charging in the bike things would be under the parking bylaw, not site plan.
Yeah, I mean, there's other things like rooftop gardens and stuff like that towns are putting in there as well. I mean, there's just a lot of ideas. I mean,
So we have those in our lid, although no one ever,
is that right?
we've never, yeah. It's a lid technique,
Okay.
although no one's built anything that could put a rooftop garden on it.
lot of
It's
times-
hard on a pitched roof.
A lot of times site plan is like just, our site plan, I think, is just like a few it's a few, it's not very lengthy, right? And it says, health and safety, goes into zoning and the reason for zoning and health and safety and stuff like this. I can't recall whether ours says anything about environmental, but a lot of towns have a statement in there that says, something environmental. It doesn't go into.
So it doesn't go into the, as detailed as you had put.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that we can continue to talk about too.
Yeah.
Is that it? Oh, so planners report, next item on the agenda.
So. Oh, I'm sorry. So we have the open space inspections report from fiscal year 25. That was due June 30th. So we have a substantially completed report. So I'll be reviewing that in the near future. And then eventually, maybe in the fall, they'll do a presentation when that's done.
Oh, and I forgot, so maybe at the next meeting, we can do Lisa made the open space letter nicer.
And I'll hopefully have the update of the tracker, which is on Excel right now, and we can decide what we do with it. So we have the challenge is sometimes it's not specific. So the properties, if it's like a development, they don't say it's, number 36. They just say the development, and they show pictures. So it's really hard to discern where was the big, oil tank. It's a picture, but then you'd have to go back and try and tell it. So that takes a lot more effort. So they're not really specific as to when they find findings, what property it's on.
Did you notice they have a photo map?
Yeah.
Locator map, sometimes they have the circle and the arrow, like where they took.
So the earlier ones, like going back in history, so maybe the more recent ones, so like the last, like 5 years ago, they're not that good.
No, because we started with Mass Auto.
Yes.
When we were just growing and figuring out what to do.
Yeah, and Lucas is much better. So he usually puts the plan and then rights where,
Where
like
the
on it,
things
where all
are.
the pictures are.
Orientation.
Yeah, the last 2 years have been good like that. The prior ones, not so
Oh,
much, but at least I have the tracker, so we know the properties that we've gone through. So maybe that we can have that as a discussion item for August 18th.
And then, zoning map update, CAI Tech has already put the MBTA communities on the GIS mapping.
I
as a
noticed
layer,
that.
But we just need to.
Stripes.
Yeah, make it a little brighter or some other feature they're working on, and then they'll update the zoning map with the amendment dated to the town meeting that MBTA was passed. We'll have a new zoning map that gets put on all the web pages, et cetera. And some other projects we're working on, the deed research database, it's still in the works. I have to get back to them and updating some of the open space information on the GIS mapping. They're just waiting for me to give them the data. And that's about it for tonight. I don't think, sure I'm not missing anything. It's not confirmed yet when the special town meeting is, right? It's just approximately October 26th.
So, yeah, so they'll vote on it tomorrow.
Okay.
Andrew was leaning towards the 27th, but they haven't voted yet.
Okay. And 27. And then we just have meeting minutes.
May I ask a
You-
quick question about one of the items in the planners report? I'm admittedly getting up to speed on the, what you were talking about, Marnie, about, I think it's a tracker with photographs, so you can look at information and then see the corresponding photo to make sense of it. Is that, no? Okay. I was trying to, because the reason I was asking is, because the next item was talking about CAI, because GIS is fantastic in this regard, where you can click on something and it shows you a photo with the orientation, and you can also get a tabular list. That's why I was going to bring it up. But if that's not what you're saying, then okay.
Mine's like, let's just say that's like the 5,000 foot. I'm at like 100,000 feet. It's just their, like where the properties they did, what their findings were. But in the early years, their findings are very broad. Like there's an oil tank on the open space land. And you're like, okay, where was it?
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna, I just didn't spend the time to find it.
And some of those areas will probably repeat back as it cycles through, and we'll be able to capture that in the following year. All right.
Oh, and we just have 1 minute.
Yep.
Just one.
I'm,
June 23rd.
I make a motion to approve the June 23rd, 2025 minutes.
I have a comment on the minutes.
So for discussion,
For discussion, yeah. If I may, on line 59, something I had mentioned about a neighboring town, but it was Town of Westboro Conservation Commission. And we had clarified that. And then on line 32, if we could just add along Route 9.
So wait a second, on 59, it's spoke about a very forceful letter A from Westboro Conservation Commission received.
It was Conservation Commission, yeah.
Concom received. A resident, so a forceful letter, the Westboro Conservation Commission received. Okay.
well, the resident received it. didn't they?
Oh, that's what I'm trying to see.
From the conservation.
Westboro yes, Conservation.
A resident received, oh, not from Lucas, it came from.
Oh, correct, it was not Lucas, no, it was.
That's what I'm
that's all
trying,
I
okay,
was
so
giving.
this is okay.
Yep.
It's just not Lucas, it's Concom.
Yes, yep.
Okay,
And then on line 32, if we can add along Route 9.
132 or 32?
Oh, sorry. Line 32.
Okay,
And let me just read it. There was a discussion about possible changes, and I think we were talking about Route 9 there. As you
changes
say, along Route 9.
along Route 9.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Did that?
Yep.
Okay,
That's all I have.
so that's Deb.
That's it.
Yep. 32 and 59, okay. We had a motion.
So do we have a second on that?
No, you didn't have.
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, Latrell, yes?
Houlihan, yes.
Demiria, yes.
Brascio, yes.
Dukenyak, yes.
I make a motion to adjourn the planning board meeting with our next meeting scheduled for August 18th, 2025.
I second.
For motion and a second, any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, Latrell, yes?
Houlihan, yes.
Demiria, yes.
Brascio, yes.
Dukenyak, yes.